So, Nick.
Yes, Caleb.
We are now recording this on Saturday, the 24th. The Oscar nominations came out a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I did not look at them right away. The night before the Oscar nominations came out, you texted me and said, I'm worried that it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Like more than usual. Because we both have talked before and we agree, like, we don't have a lot of faith. But you messaged and you said, I'm nervous that it's going to be a real shit show.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of believed that it would be too. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to. And then, my day went along. There were some messages sent in our group chats. And I was like, oh, no. Sounds like it sounds like there was some particularly bad stuff. I opened Twitter on my lunch break at work. And I see this article that just made me start cackling. It is a BBC article that has the entire cast of Sinners, not in the movie, but just all those actors lined up, probably at some award show. And they're all smiling, these like really cheesy, like, pose for the photo. They don't look like they're actually having fun together. And the article just said, today, Sinners were the big winners. And if you have the decoder ring for what we think that means, I went, well, that's kind of a double entendre, isn't it? Yeah. And then I found out they got how many nominations?
16. They set a record. I think they were eligible in 17 categories and got almost all of them.
What was the thing they're eligible for they didn't get, I wonder?
I believe it was...
I know. Best Actress. That's what it has to be.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because they got the other 3 acting categories.
Mm-hmm.
Holy, yeah, dude, oh my God, they didn't miss a single thing they could have gotten.
They hit everything they could have that they went in for,
So this is some Sinner slop part 2. Sinners were the big winners.
They sure were.
They got more nominations than any movie ever has. A lot of people are upset about this. We talked about, we both saw a lot of talk online of people saying, excuse me, which is refreshing to see people not just jump on the bandwagon.
Finally. Because when Sinners came out, we felt like, do we have Down syndrome? Why do we just dislike this movie more than other people? It seemed like it was getting unanimous praise. And then now people are finally being like, well, hold on, 16?
Yeah. It's, and the trail. Okay. So backing up a little bit, we both talked, we were very prophetic. When we started this podcast, actually, we were talking about this before the first episode came out. So this was at least July.
Yeah.
When we talked about Sinners, because we banked the first 10 episodes, before anything actually came out. When we talked about Sinners way, way back when, we said, oh yeah, the Oscars this year, Sinners is definitely going to be there. Mm-hmm. Then when we saw One Battle After Another, and we did the episode on that, we said the Oscars this year, it's going to be between Sinners and One Battle, and it clearly is.
Yeah.
But even back then when we were saying, oh, Sinners is going to be the big darling, neither of us thought in our wildest dreams it was getting more than 10 nominations. For context, almost every year there's 3 or 4 movies that get between 9 and 12 nominations every year. Mm-hmm. The Academy, we've talked about before, they pick a few movies and most of their nominees come from that. And so the 4 or 5 movies that consistently are nominated in the Best Director, one of the screenplay categories, and 1 or 2 acting categories are going to be the 3 or 4 films that everything else comes from.
Yeah.
We knew Sinners was going to be one of those. There's just no way it couldn't be. With the amount of hype that it was getting at the time and people saying it was a new genre, Spike Lee claiming that Ryan Coogler invented a new genre.
That's so dumb. I hate him so much.
And you go, oh, this will burn off. And then we'll be left with at the end of the year is just the overpraised and over-rewarded, but not crazy over-rewarded movie. No. This is Oppenheimer at the end of the movie realizing what he did. There's no coming back from this because what is ever going to top this stat? What can ever get enough sympathy votes or whatever you call it, guilt votes or Sinners obviously isn't considered better than all these other movies it beat the record for. It's going to take a very long time, unless they just introduce more categories to inflate the chances of getting like so many. This is going to hold the record for probably a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much right. I guess the only thing they could do is, I don't know, put a leading actress in it that screams and cries so she gets a Best Actress nomination. Yeah. And that way they could get 17 instead of 16. But are they really going to min-max all that stuff of like try to refine what makes the perfect movie? I mean, people are already doing that. But I feel like there's been enough backlash on Sinners getting just like, in my opinion, way too many nominations. And I think it should be nominated for a decent chunk of what it is right now. Makes sense. I'm not completely mad over how, like, at least half of them.
Yeah, we're not saying it didn't deserve a single thing.
Oh, of course not. No, there's some that I think it actually could or should win here, which we'll talk about soon. But yeah, unless they make like a category like, best lesbian, blackest cast, most BIPOC, something like that.
I think that this is the first year casting is a category, and I got a feeling like blackest cast is going to be the inaugural award.
Yeah, that's my first pick, by the way.
By the way, with Delroy Lindo, which we can talk about. So we're going to go through the categories here. We're starting kind of with the way that this is arranged on the official like Academy Awards announcement. The number 1 is, Best Picture, and then it goes all the way down to 24. We're going to start with what they basically have decided with how they've numbered it is the least important thing and work our way up.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the nominees and our thoughts. The first one here for us, number 24, casting. One of these nominees is Sinners. And this award is the closest thing. It's a new category, but it's the closest thing to the SAG Ensemble Award. And the first year that was given out was 1995, or technically 6, for 1995. And it went to Get Shorty, which stars Delroy Lindo. And he's also in Sinners. And so there's a nice little, and I didn't need the internet for that one. That's all up here. That's me making connections on the spot.
That's Caleb's autism.
That's my autism. It's not very impressive to most people, but thankfully to you. And hopefully some listeners. The nominees are Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinners. So the 4 of the 5 that everything's going to get.
Yeah, I've got Sinners for this one. Yeah. And honestly, this is one of the things where it's like, I don't really care about this, so whatever. I've not gotten around to seeing Marty Supreme or The Secret Agent as of recording this, but I don't really have a problem with Sinners winning necessarily. I just am kind of apathetic about it in general. But I guess if it really had to win one, I guess this is like the happiest, I would put. Sure. Besides maybe like one of the later ones that I also don't care about that we'll get into. But yeah, I mean, this is obviously going to Sinners.
Probably. I would say that there's only 2 possible options here, which is Sinners and One Battle. Technically, this award, I guess, it's going to go to the casting director, and the achievement being honored is your ability to put someone in a role that they're best suited for, and how many times did you do that in a movie. So it's going to be a movie with a big cast. And One Battle and Sinners are the 2 movies that have a lot of people in them. I don't think One Battle needs to win this. And even though I think One Battle has better casting, I think everyone in Sinners is giving the most mid-ass performances I've ever seen. I think that One Battle probably deserves this more. I think it can go to Sinners. It's safe. If the maid is going to steal from you, you want them to steal something you don't care about. Give Sinners the casting award. Sure. I would personally vote Marty Supreme, not just because I liked that movie more, but I just think that probably did that, fit the description the best. You've yet to see it, but the faces in that movie are just fantastic. It's typical Safdie, like monster faces. You go, how did they find these people?
I've seen some of the people.
Yeah. And the stunt casting, of Tyler the Creator, Kevin O'Leary, they're good in it. There's not a weak link in that cast, in my opinion.
Next category is documentary short. Now, I planned to watch all of the shorts, animated, live action, and documentary before recording this, but we just didn't have enough time before recording because I was in the process of moving. And also, watching 15 things, even if they're like 30 minutes each, it does add up eventually. The nominees are All the Empty Rooms, Armed Only with the Camera, Children No More, Were and Are Gone, The Devil is Busy, and Perfectly a Strangeness. Now, like I said, I didn't see any of these, but I think it's going to go to All the Empty Rooms because that's the one I've seen the most buzz about. And I believe it's a documentary on Netflix, and it's just people going around filming the empty rooms of children who died in school shootings.
That's exactly what I was going to guess it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just seems like some of the other ones are like kind of bizarre. Like Children No More is a documentary about it's from Israel.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I looked it up literally before I started recording, and I forgot what it was, but I said, "Oh my god, this is the most Jewish thing ever."
Wait, Children No More is Israeli?
Yeah, there's actually...
That could be Israeli for multiple reasons.
There are 2 Israeli shorts that are about things that happen.
Oh, okay.
And the more I looked online just to see what would go, it just kind of confirmed that All the Empty Rooms, I think, is probably going to win, just because it seems like that would latch on to the Academy more, because right now, I think it was last year, there was a documentary from Palestine called like No Other Land. I forget the name, but that won an award. And I feel like the Academy right now is going to be very self-conscious about like putting anything Israeli. Like they'll give it a nomination to placate, the people who rub their hands together. Yeah. But I don't think they're going to nominate anything for an award, especially after last year, something Palestinian getting a lot.
As Paul Schrader pointed out on the Adam Friedland show, I believe it was, because he talked about like the Jews that control Hollywood, a lot of them gave away their jobs to gay people and people of color in service of showing that they're for representation. He was talking about a different topic, but when it comes to the Academy, they've added a lot of members in wake of the Oscars So White scandal of, oh my God, no black nominees this year in a year where there weren't any movies where any black people were very good, 2015.
Yeah.
So instead of course correcting in some kind of way that made sense, they just said, let's just bring Infinity Indians, as you like to say, into the Academy. So there's a lot of people that are not going to be it's not a Jewish Academy only anymore, basically. Yeah. So you're going to get stuff that's a little edgier and critical of Israel.
Yeah.
So.
And all these actors signed all these things critiquing, Netanyahu and the IDF and all that stuff, saying like, we do not support this. And there were a ton of actors, people who are probably on the Academy themselves in certain categories, who are just not going to vote for something that's like, oh my God, do you remember what happened on October 7th? No, they're not going to vote for that.
Yeah.
So that's gone.
Emma Stone. People thought she was not going to get nominated based on her signing that. Yeah,
exactly. The other shorts, I forget what Armed Only with a Camera was, but when I looked it up, I said, this is gay. The Devil is Busy is about a lady who drives a bus to get people like to abortion clinics. And that seemed also gay.
This is just the most hack.
It's the most just like fake, emotionally manipulative documentary shorts. And then Perfectly a Strangeness, looked it up, I had never heard about this, got bad reviews or mediocre reviews, and it's about like donkeys or mules like seeing a like space station, and it seems stupid. So I don't think that's going to win. All the Empty Rooms is my pick.
I don't have a pick, but I'll trust you. I would say that all of these titles, by the way, besides Perfectly a Strangeness, these all sound like school shootings. All the Empty Rooms,
Yeah.
Armed with Only a Camera.
Camera on the end of my gun to put on Live Leak, yeah.
Children No More were and are gone.
Fuck, they really are.
The Devil is Busy, Yeah. Manson is the one who said the devil made me do it, right? Or someone said that.
I think
someone who did a mass killing.
Yeah.
All right, the nominees for live action short are Butcher's Stain, A Friend of Dorothy, Jane Austen's period drama. That's not me improvising, by the way. The Singers, and Two People Exchanging Saliva. Okay, this is like being in film school again. So
neither of us saw any of these for time constraints as well. I looked all these up, and my God, 2 terrible categories in a row. Butcher's Stain is another Israeli short, and it's about this Palestinian guy that gets blamed for tearing down hostage posters.
Ooh.
And that seemed hilarious, but like I said again, that's probably not going to win.
Yeah.
Next one is called A Friend of Dorothy, and this has Miriam Margolyes in it, a lady from The Age of Innocence, British actress, And I have to say something about this. I looked it up, and it's just kind of like I don't want to say odd couple, but like an old lady and a young man begin a friendship when he kicks like a soccer ball into his yard. I don't know how many people know this, and I don't think this is what the doc does, but I could be wrong. The term friend of Dorothy is a euphemism for a homosexual.
Because of the Wizard of Oz?
I believe so.
Okay.
But I don't know if they're doing that on purpose, because I think this is a Disney Plus short, because I saw the artwork of that. They have to be doing it on purpose. But, Disney famously cuts gays out of, like, Star Wars and, like, all their animated stuff.
For China.
They
don't cut it out for me.
You're only seeing
What am I paying for the premium subscription? I don't care about the ads. Take away the gay scenes from the Disney movie.
I come over and your Disney Plus is just 30 minutes of gazing. I'm like, Caleb, why is your movie so long? But I saw that and it looked kind of next one, Jane Austen's period drama, is about a lady who gets her period in a Jane Austen era dress. And I said, oh, that looks bad.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah. Moving on, The Singers looked fine. It's about people in a pub who I think like start, around singing around. I don't know. Haven't heard anything about it. The only one I actually heard something of is two people exchanging saliva. And I looked at it and it's in black and white. And I think it's about a future where kissing is illegal. It seemed very like, okay, like, I don't want to say it's like Cronenberg, but he kind of has things where it's just like, just take it for granted. Like, just run with it. I feel like usually in these categories, the one that I've heard of tends to do well. So that's going to be my pick. But like I said, all of them don't really look that good.
Yeah.
So who's to say?
I'm semi-inclined to agree with your pick for two people exchanging saliva. I think that the winner is going to be that or Jane Austen's period drama, not because of the content, but literally just because of the titles. And there's a meta game to be played here. The short film categories, of which there are 3, are even less viewed than the regular categories that people should be viewing that they already don't. So there's a theory that a lot of people who vote on this shit, because every Academy member gets to vote on the winners for all categories. They only nominate within their branch, but they get to vote for everything. They're not watching this shit. They're looking at the title. They're not even looking at descriptions. They're looking at the title. So you'll find if you look at the winners in these categories, it's often titles that evoke some kind of thing.
Yeah.
And those are the 2 that are like, whoa, what could that be? Whereas the rest are like, oh, I'm painting a house.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And for the first category that I actually have something to say about, and I think actually has some decent nominees in it, is Best Animated Short. The nominees are Butterfly, also called Papillon, Forever Green, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Retirement Plans, and The Three Sisters. So there's something that I want to plug really quick. This was the only short category I had time to actually watch.
Yeah.
And one thing that I hate about these nominated short films is some of them are just like not streaming anywhere, or you have to pay for them, or they're extremely hard to access.
Yeah.
And this was the problem I had until I searched on Reddit. And as of recording this was posted a day ago. There's a guy who runs a website called deathracetracking.com, which is kind of like a movie logging thing, but you can log it by like Oscar race, Golden Globes race. Like it has pre-made categories. It's a site like that. And he said, hey, my site is doing a thing with the animation showcase that if you make an account on my site for free, you can watch all the animated shorts. So, and I recommend there are at least 2 shorts on here that I really liked that are kind of hard to find. Butterflies on YouTube. But for Forever Green, and if you want to see the others, just Google like Oscar shorts, Reddit, Death Race Tracking, something like that, and you'll find the walkthrough instructions on how to watch these for free. You make an account, it takes like 2 minutes.
Okay.
So everybody go and do that if you care about these.
Doesn't ABC have enough money to just host these fucking things on their site for a day?
I guess so, but I mean, it might just be a rights thing because one of these apparently was streaming beforehand and then made the video private, and they keep unprivating it for certain things. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You can't be making money off this.
Yeah.
It's just art. Anyway.
One of our classmates made a joke in film school that the purpose of making a short film is for it to play somewhere where no one saw it and then to bury it forever and then, so that it can have some kind of mystique. And that really is true. It's like impossible to find. If you ever look on any director's IMDb and you go, I always naturally look at the features. Let me actually Google these ones that have parentheses short next to them. You can't find them. Short films don't exist.
Yeah.
You know,
if they're not in Vimeo or YouTube, they might as well be in fucking outer space.
Yeah. And they're probably not on Vimeo and YouTube. Like, you know.
Exactly. Only two of these were on YouTube already. And it's because one of them is like the New Yorker's submission. So.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about these more in depth than some of the other categories because I feel like most people haven't seen shorts. So I'll be the one person who talks about these. And I'll talk about them in the order I saw them.
I'm predicting the winner will either be The Three Sisters or The Girl Who Cried Pearls because, again, title, and these both guarantee there's women in them. And this is a very male-coded Oscars in terms of the frontrunners, so this is a way to give some women some awards. I'm thinking that's how the Smog Breathers will vote.
Okay. I have a different opinion, and you'll see where I'm coming from.
Okay.
I promise. So I started off with Retirement Plan. This was like on the New Yorker's YouTube channel. And it's about a guy who just retires from work, and there's like a voiceover I believe he's an actor. I forget his name, but it's like an Irish actor. And he's talking about like, when I retire, I'm going to like finally read that book. I'm going to travel more. And it goes on. It's like, it's pretty like sentimental of just like, I'm going to do all the things that I never got the chance to do. And then over the course of the short, he's aging more and more. Like he's just kind of like a 50, 60-year-old guy. And then eventually he needs a walker. He's on his deathbed. And it's showing the how quickly time goes. I wasn't a fan of the animation. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's almost like 2D line art, kind of like a New Yorker comic itself. It wasn't really impressive. I didn't find it all that funny, but I do think it has a good message. I'm not exactly sure what will resonate with the people who vote, but if you're just going off titles, I don't think it's really going to hit. I didn't really care for it. I think it's fine. You can watch it on YouTube. Next one, though, is a huge step up called Forever Green. I like this quite a bit. Everything looks like it's made out of wood, and there's no dialogue in this one. There's a bear in a forest who meets an anthropomorphic tree, and he like nurtures him with like the good natural food. And then the bear eventually gets into temptation. He starts digging around in the trash, and it's like, you know, an environmentalist short. It looks fantastic. The bear being made out of wood is very funny because, you know, people a lot like my own family.
They're not made out of wood.
No, made wood. But, you know, people have the wooden bears, like the carved stuff. It looked fantastic. I think this has won a bunch of awards. And I think this might win, if not for another one on this list. Just because it's easy to watch, doesn't overstay its welcome. It's fairly tight. I'd give it, honestly, like a light 8, hard 9 out of 10. It's a good thing to show your kid to be like, oh, look, this will get you interested in animation, and it's cute. Next one is The Girl Who Cried Pearls. This was the first one where I just was kind of like, okay, I don't really understand. This visually reminds me of Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas in that kind of stop motion sense and how the characters look. A lot of them look like marionette puppets, and it's kind of bizarre because none of their faces or eyes move. It's like they're literally only being moved. There's no like other animation in that sense. And there's a line that made me chuckle where a character says something like, oh, she would like had the greatest smile, and the character just straight faced. And I'm like, well, you didn't think maybe you could like change the head for one scene. It looks a little bizarre, but it's about a rich guy who thinks back in his life growing up in Montreal as like a poor street urchin. And there's a girl who, whenever she cries these beautiful pearls. And he's torn between wanting to take her out of this life. Like she cries, he takes the pearls and sells them and gets a bunch of money. And so he's thinking like, do I exploit her or do I not? As the story goes on, and I don't want to spoil anything too heavy, but the story gets kind of confusing near the end. Yeah. And it seems unnecessarily so. There's just like a plot point that happens. You're like, oh, what? And then it ends. And you're like, okay, why did that happen?
Well, when you end your short film on a question mark, Nick, the audience is invited to make the rest of the story in their heads, and that's artistic.
And that's exactly what the Oscar voters are not going to do, so I don't think it's going to win.
So it's going to be wood bears.
It might. It might. Just wait. Next one I watched after this was called The Three Sisters, and this one has kind of an interesting backstory. The guy who's credited with this, and I forget his name, but he has like a Russian-sounding name, is actually a pseudonym. And it's a more famous Russian animator who decided to submit this under a pseudonym to see how hard it was to get his like with no name recognition into festivals. And apparently he did have some trouble with it, but then eventually when it came out, it seems like he just got in anyway. So maybe he is right, and the Academy's like, oh my God, this is a famous dude. Let's just put him in.
That's Boris Animatriev.
Yes. That might actually be close to his name. I forget what it was. This one's pretty inoffensive. I didn't love it or hate it. Basically, these three sisters who look like babushkas live on this island that has 3 houses. They have a ship come in every week with supplies. And as they're getting the supplies in, she drops her coin purse into the water and they run out of money. So they have to rent their house to this sailor who I think is the captain of the ship. And they all kind of like fall for him one by one in a very, cute way. They're like, oh, finally a man on this island. It's completely fine. I think it's a little long, but it really isn't that interesting. But it's something that you can show your kid and be like, oh, it's a very like, it's a 2D art style. And this is going to be kind of a pull from the dark. But do you remember that Futurama episode where they turned 2D? and they existed in like a 2D space.
Is that part of the anthology of interest where it's like 3 little stories in one episode? I don't remember that.
Maybe. I don't know. It might be one of like the movies I did later on. But anyway, point I'm saying is it's in a 2D art style and it looks fine, but I honestly didn't love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not much really to say on that. It's cute. But my favorite thing is that the captain, whenever he sees something funny, it's the same like audio file. He just goes, ha! And he does it like 10 times. And after a while, I was like, okay, I get this is pretty
They don't have a lot of resources in the former Soviet Union.
Yeah, yeah, they've all been embargoed right now.
One file. I'm imagining, now, don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I would imagine that story, based on how you introduced it, you have the 3 sisters, they all fall for him. So that means, obviously, none of them can have him. So the story is going to be they're each in love with him for a different reason, and then ultimately they can't be with him because either he dies or he leaves or they all marry other people, whatever. But you can't have one of them actually win this competition. So I would imagine that if this is made for kids, they all fall in love and then, some sweet little ending where something else happens kind of subversive. But there is a chance for a triple blowjob ending scene. Did I guess it?
Fuck. Yes, they all, one on each nut and one on the shaft, you're right.
I saw it in my mind's eye.
And the last one, and my personal favorite, is Butterfly. This one you can watch on YouTube, and I implore people to watch this. It's French language, and it is actually a true story about, I believe, the director's dad's like friend, a family friend. This is a true story of a guy who... this is all painted, by the way, kind of in that like Loving Vincent style where you see like brushstrokes, like it's paint animation, if I can describe this well. I loved how it looked. It looked fantastic. The story is about a guy who is who becomes a professional swimmer, and it goes through him, as a kid in the 30s being afraid of the water, and then his mom is able to, be like, it's all right, honey. And he turns into a professional swimmer, participates in these races, participates at the 1934 Olympics, which I'm sure you know where that was.
That was an interesting year.
Yeah. And as it goes on, I won't say where it goes, but that is a very pivotal moment, and this is based on a real person. I implore everybody to watch this. I thought it was fantastic. It looks great. It was moving, and I think this is going to win because it has a positive message and it doesn't cross into anything that the Academy's like, ooh.
You picked it because it's French language.
One of them also, I think, is French-Canadian. So,
oh, really?
But I like the French more than those fucking... What's the slur for them I can do?
For the Frenchies?
The French-Canadians.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
French-Canadian is slur enough.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't
doesn't
wince when they hear that?
Dude, imagine being from fucking Montreal.
Kill yourself. Bill Maher, imagine you're Christian. You're stupid. You mentioned professional swimmers.
Yeah.
If you start on Friends, does that make you a professional swimmer? Do you think David Schwimmer has ever made that joke?
He probably has to get laid.
Do you think people... Because you'd think that people, if you have a celebrity who has a name that sounds like another thing, everyone else is coming up and bothering them with it.
Yeah.
Do you think he's at bars and no one's paying attention? He's like, I'm a professional swimmer.
He's hanging outside high schools going, I'm a swimmer.
He's a big Zionist.
Oh, yeah.
He's another one of those where it's like October, what was it, 7th?
I think, yeah.
There's too many dates we have to know now. He's one of those ones where it's like October 7th? Oh, yeah, I've cared about being Jewish my whole life, actually.
We've talked about the Jews in like 4 categories. So
it's just the world we live in.
But yes, so Butterfly is my pick for animated short. It is on YouTube. It's about 10 minutes. I give it a light 9, maybe even a 10.
A light 9 on the Fantano scale is pretty good.
Yeah.
Next category, best sound. Now, this used to be 2 categories. They had best sound mixing and best sound editing. Before that, it was best sound and best sound effects editing. Mixing, levels, editing is putting sounds together. They've now just combined it one category because no one could ever tell what the fuck it meant, I guess.
Yeah.
And when they had elected whoever that was, the president of the Academy, after the Oscar was so white thing, she probably went, what the fuck is this sound shit? By the way, I'm not being racist. That was a black woman they put in charge. So somebody at some point said, let's make it one category, but this is the easiest one to predict every year because it's the one that has the most sound.
Yeah.
The nominees are F1, the movie, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Surratt. I think it'll be F1.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Cargo Vroom, a lot of car.
Cargo Vroom, and honestly, this category, I wasn't kidding, it's the easiest to predict. I don't think I've gotten this I don't think I've gotten the sound categories wrong since like 26, since I started paying attention.
How is Frankenstein in this category, by the way?
It's a movie. The sound nominees, this is another one where, Frankenstein is one of those, it's probably number 5 on the list of movies that's going to get nominated everywhere. Mm-hmm. It made most of the categories that the big movies get, but it just wasn't as loved. It didn't get the best director noms. That's the only reason why I put it at 5 instead of 4. Mm-hmm. But Frankenstein was loved, so it gets in there. Why is one battle after another here? No reason.
Gunshots, I guess.
It's just a movie that has movie Sinners. Why is that here? It's just, Surratt, I would personally vote for just because it's something interesting, I guess, but it's going to be F1.
Surratt is one of the international film nominees from, I believe, Spain. Yes, Spain. And it's a music festival out in the desert. That would make sense. Yeah. I can't see Surratt yet because whoever's distributing it in the US is a fucking mongoloid. And I can't see it even legally. So fuck you. F1's going to win. You're gay.
Yeah.
And another easy category to predict is visual effects. The nominees are Avatar Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. This is going to be Avatar. Avatar only exists to win this award and make $1 billion somehow every time.
I agree on all counts. I think that it's the safe pick, and you'd be kind of stupid not to bet on it. Now, this is the year where if it's going to lose. So Avatar and Avatar 2 both won visual effects. Mm-hmm. Avatar, the first Avatar, won other awards too, including Best Cinematography, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's not even a real movie, honestly.
Yeah, that's, we can talk about that. That could be its own episode. But It has walked away with visual effects the first 2 times, and it makes sense for it to have won for the second movie as well because they went even further. There's like no footage in the second movie. It's all graphics. It's all animation. And it looks photorealistic. Now, you'd be dumb not to bet on it, but I would say if there's a year where Avatar is going to lose this award, it would be maybe for the third movie because this one didn't do anything, at least that's in the public consciousness, is a step further than the previous one where it needs to be awarded again. And even though it wouldn't deserve it, Sinners is nominated here. And it has enough VFX stuff that, because the Oscars get a little arty with it sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes this award goes to Blade Runner 2049. If you do something kind of interesting with visual effects, they might throw an award your way. None of these movies did anything that unique or interesting, but Avatar might feel a little hack for them. There might be enough people who say, again, let the maid walk out with the bad silverware. Let's give Sinners an award here so they don't cut our throats when we don't give it any of the big, awards.
We don't get mugged in the parking lot later by some real sinners.
Next category, makeup and hairstyling. The nominees are Frankenstein, Kokuho, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. Is that The Smashing Machine's only nomination? It is.
Yes, I believe so.
Thank God.
That movie was not good. So honestly, so Dwayne Johnson as Mark Kerr, the makeup they put on him and prosthetics actually does look good. So sure, whatever. But this is the only thing that it actually should be nominated for because that movie was dog shit.
I've heard from and I heard from you personally, and I've seen online people talking about how the movie is just kind of subpar.
Yeah.
And the makeup and hairstyling award. So it's interesting that you focused on The Smashing Machine there with talking about how, maybe, sure, why not? I predict this will go to Frankenstein. It's the movie of this list that is liked the most besides Sinners, and it makes more sense to give it to Frankenstein than Sinners because what is Frankenstein other than a showcase for this weird Prometheus makeup?
Yeah.
I think it sucks. I don't think it should win Best Makeup. I think it's the safe choice. I think it's the one that the Academy voters are going to go towards. But I would personally vote for The Smashing Machine because I think it's really funny that they had Dwayne Johnson sit in a makeup chair for 5 hours to make him look almost exactly how he already looked.
Yeah.
They didn't need, they did like all kinds of transformative like little details to make him look more like the guy, but you really could have just given him a wig. Because, you don't, when you're playing a real person, you don't have to look identical. With Daniel Day-Lewis playing Lincoln, it's like we gave him a little beard here, we trimmed his hair, but that's Daniel Day-Lewis's face. You can forget that he doesn't look identical. I think it's hilarious that they...
Yeah. The Rock is like a big Polynesian dude playing like a white guy with a different head shape. Yeah. And it's like, you don't need to put him in like 6 hours of makeup in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be funny to just award them for way overachieving on this one.
Yeah. I also chose Frankenstein because I haven't seen Kokuho yet. I know that is the Japanese International Film entry. And I don't know if it's about kabuki theater, but it does have people in that classical Japanese makeup style. And if that wins, great. That would be cool. That would be an actual, inspired pick.
Yeah.
Like I said, haven't seen it, but because these are America-centric awards, I think Frankenstein is definitely going to take it just for Jacob Elordi's portrayal as the monster.
Yeah.
Next category, costume design. The nominees are Avatar: Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners. This one was kind of hard for me to choose because I think it could go to 3 because we were talking off mic that the Academy loves period pieces, classical dresses, suits. That tends to win a lot of the time. And with Frankenstein, Hamnet, and Sinners, those take place in different time periods, but they all hit that benchmark.
Yeah.
And it could go to any of those 3, but for me, I just put Sinners because I think they're going to give it to that. I don't want to make, too big a prediction because I'm honestly not sure. But I think just because Sinners got so many nominations and they have Sinner Brain, I think they'll be like, yeah, let's give that one to them.
They'd have total Sinner Brain. I love that you coined that just now. I'm going to use that many times in my personal life. I agree with the costume design conundrum because none of these movies take place in the current day. All of them take place either in the past or Avatar in the speculative future.
Oh, yeah.
And there is no costumes. We were talking. I mean, it's just blue people put Native American shit on them. There's no costume, but okay, whatever. It's not going to go to that one. I suspect it'll go to Frankenstein because of these movies, by process of elimination, it is the most costume. And here's another thing with the Academy. Here's another secret at home, folks, to win your Oscar pool. If you don't know what to do, replace best with most. And you're probably going to be right on the money.
Yeah.
It's often most acting. It's the most righty movie. It's the thing that is so just loud that it just gets it. Because here's the thing: you don't need, just because you won the award doesn't mean everyone liked it. It just means that at least 20%. You just had to hit 20, or I guess technically 24, I guess, so that everything else could get 19. However the math works out, the point, you get what I'm saying, though. It's you just have to get a small percentage, a small majority. So I think it'll be Frankenstein. I'd personally vote Marty Supreme. Not that I really care that much. It's the movie I liked the most here, and it does have the least conventional, I guess, because Frankenstein, I know people are probably going like, that's the least conventional because it's crazy. Yeah, that's kind of easy. Everything I saw in Frankenstein just looks like a steampunk Del Toro child brain nightmare. Like, you don't need to give awards to that, but I think they will.
Yeah.
Next up is production design. The nominees are Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. We can just skip reading the nominees in these categories now because it's the same 5 movies.
Yeah. This one I also struggled with a little bit too, for kind of the exact same reason as costume design. Yeah. It's like, what had sets that were probably fantastic or they thought looked good.
Yeah.
I didn't give this one to Sinners because it mostly takes place in one building, but maybe they'll latch on to that because a lot happens in it.
The barn is a character.
It is a character. It's like most of the time when people say something is a character, it really isn't. But for this one, I put Frankenstein. For the record, folks, I did not finish Frankenstein. I did not finish this. I watched 45 minutes and I said, this seems like it's just like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And if you've seen it, you probably get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I turned it off, so I am not going to review that movie anymore beyond that. But I know he has a lab. I saw the scene where he was choosing prisoners at the gallows. I saw that like university scene with like the, whatever you would call it, like the vomitorium, I think it is.
Yeah, where it's basically Parliament, but
yes.
Del Toro and sexual freaked up.
Freaked up and sexual style. Yeah, if I had to choose one, again, I'm not confident, but I guess I'll give it to Frankenstein here. Hamnet, we just saw today. Didn't really impress me too much.
I agree. None of these are, you gotta give it to it. One Battle. Now, here's the thing. This category is actually more competitive, I think, than probably meets the eye, because if you really break it down here, Frankenstein, number one, most production design, so the safe pick. Hamnet, I think, is the weakest option here because every single thing about the movie, like, you didn't have to build a single set for this movie.
Yeah.
It's possible they didn't. I'm sure they did, but literally everything you see in the movie is something you could just go to in the real world and shoot for free. And, you know, it's just like villages and houses and living rooms. Marty Supreme, I'll come back to that one. One Battle After Another does have a chance because you know, we talked about it when we reviewed the movie. There are a lot of different locales, and sometimes best production design just goes to like, hey, how many fucking environments did we see in that movie? Because these people are just idiots when they vote. Mm-hmm. It's not based on merit. Even Sinners has a dark horse chance here because even though there's no rational reason you should give it an award for best production design, there's no reason to single it out. Since it's an option here, it might get that 20-something%. It might get that small majority of people who say, well, I did have a good sense of place, and that, you know, that can also be the award. And, you know, you watch that movie and it's a barn and there's fire and you remember the imagery. So there might be people who can kind of trick themselves or talk themselves into thinking it's brilliant that way because they're backing into the Sinner narrative of how it's brilliant and how it's a new genre. I would pick Marty Supreme here personally. Again, not just because I liked the movie more than some of the others here, but I think that taking everything into consideration, that movie takes place in, I think, the 50s in, you know, New York and a little bit in Japan, a little bit around the world, but mostly New York. Looked fucking amazing. This award went to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for doing the same thing this movie did. Now, they didn't turn like 8 blocks of LA into, you know, period scenery the way they did in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. But they did basically the same thing of they turned real New York streets into the period, and you have wide shots showing all the stuff. There was a lot of money spent on it. And I think it's worth rewarding it because a lot of the budget went to making it look period accurate. And I want to use the Oscars as a way here of rewarding that so that hopefully we can just get the tally of awards it's going to win up, because I think it's only going to win one right now. Mm-hmm. And I do want this movie to be successful so it can be a shining example in a Chris Stuckman way. I want to use it as an example that we can make movies that are mature, adult, entertaining, fun, aren't stupid, and do cost some money, and not just relying on what Robert Rodriguez would call the CGI hose.
Next category is film editing. The nominees are F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners.
Yes.
I don't feel strongly on any of these, but if I guess I had to choose one, I put One Battle After Another. It does this thing that, and I don't know if really they'll vote for this more in like score or editing, but in Oppenheimer 2 years ago, there was that thing they were talking about where through some of the boring scenes, there's like this like, you know, underlying score that gets you through it. It keeps your attention. One Battle does that as well. And didn't Oppenheimer win Best Score 2 years ago?
It won Best Score and Best Editing.
Okay, so that's my mindset of, I think since One Battle did that again, and this movie is in like the top 2 running, I think this is going to get Best Editing.
See, you're thinking like an Oscar predictor now, where you're not going off of what should happen, but you're going off of the way that other people go, this remind me of movie. I agree. I think that's smart logic. I think that One Battle has a decent chance at taking this award. And if it does, for probably similar reasons of people go, well, look how long it was and how fast it went by, which is, you know, the simplest way to, I guess, determine good editing for someone who wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Now, F1 has a chance here for the same reason that Ford versus Ferrari won, or Hacksaw Ridge, where you have a movie where people walk out and they say, oh my God, look how many Bohemian Rhapsody. Look how many edits happened.
Oh, that was egregious.
So most editing can be a factor here. Now, I haven't seen F1, but I'm imagining it's pretty quick cut. Having seen all of the other nominees here, again, I'd personally vote for Marty Supreme. It has fantastic pacing. It grabs you immediately. It's great editing in all of the different ways you can classify it, because the overall shape of the movie is like pretty much perfect. It moves well and holds your attention, all the basics. But on a micro level, as like someone who has edited things and is keen to these like micro things, every length of every shot is exactly right. And it grabs you and it points you, and you're never thinking, I wish I could see that longer. You're never having that disconnect moment you have, like, you know, Hamnet is nominated.
Yeah.
Where shots last way too long, where I'm on board with this. And it's constantly speeding up and slowing down. Marty Supreme, I thought, was just like, that is an example of exactly how to edit a movie. And it would be a way to give Marty Safdie. It would be a way to give Josh Safdie and Ronald Bronstein an Oscar, because they co-edited it. And they're not winning Best Screenplay, probably. And Safdie is not winning Best Director, probably. I mean, definitely. Yeah. So that's the only way they could get one this year. And I would be happy to see them win. I think they deserve it. But yeah, it's probably just going to be fucking Sinners or F1. It's going to be anything else probably.
So what is your prediction, since this is a prediction show?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards F1, but I'm kind of right on the fence between One Battle and F1. It's not going to be sentimental value.
Yeah.
It could be Sinners for just Sinner love reasons. It's going to be F1 or One Battle, I bet. If it is Marty, that would be amazing, but I have no faith. So I'm going to lean towards F1.
All right.
Original score. This is my angriest category. The nominees are Begonia, deserves to be there. Frankenstein, fuck off. Hamnet, fuck off my dick.
Get the fuck out of here.
One Battle After Another, fine. I'm fine with it. And Sinners, kind of fuck off, but everyone loves it so much. I guess I must have just not. I missed something. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm predicting Sinners. Not just because it's been winning a lot of awards, but also because it's the one movie here that people are really buzzing about. The composer, Ludwig Göransson.
Yes.
If that's how you say his name. He's already won twice for a different Ryan Coogler movie, Black Panther, and everyone's favorite Oppenheimer. So he is kind of an Oscar darling, and there are many, they're not afraid of giving people multiple Oscars, especially in songwriting and music composition categories. Marty Supreme has an amazing score. And this dude did the same score for, not the same score, but he did the score for the previous Safdie films. He did the Uncut Gems soundtrack. Amazing.
It's great.
He did the Good Times soundtrack, which I think they invented an award at Cannes. He won like the best soundtrack award at Cannes, which I don't think they gave out before Good Time. I'll have to double check that.
Okay.
And then maybe we'll delete this audio. But he won that award anyhow. And his music is fantastic. Marty Supreme. Oh my God. The music. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how Hamnet is. The fact that Hamnet is here and Marty isn't, I'm sending some packages.
Well, yeah, legally. But I mean, the producers on Hamnet are Steven Spielberg and Sam Mendes.
That's true.
Some real big swingers in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's probably why. My pick is One Battle. Just like my reasoning for the last one, I feel like people might conflate like, oh, the music was good in this. Or like, there are a lot of scenes in One Battle that I do remember the music for. One of them is when DiCaprio is like jumping out of the car. And the music in there actually is very tense and unique. Mm-hmm. I don't really hear a lot of music like that in, films of this caliber. So I feel fairly confident putting that down. And if it wins, I'll be like, hey. But we might be predicting that just Sinners just wins pretty much everything because they're like 21%.
We're getting near the end because as we're moving up the echelon, we're getting near the end of the stuff where it's like, well, this is probably Sinners. This is Sinners' most sure bet. It's been cleaning up music awards everywhere for this guy. Mm-hmm. Of these nominees, my personal vote is One Battle. I thought it was the best score here. Mm-hmm. A lot of people hate it.
That's crazy.
A lot of people complain about the piano, the staccato piano, and they're like, oh my God, Johnny Greenwood just sat there and he just picked a key and hit it 3 times. Like, that's just like they're picking out 4 seconds of one of the themes and just acting like that's the whole score. It's just really stupid.
The music fits the scene, unlike Highest to Lowest, which thankfully got no nominations, had the worst score of the year.
Yes.
Insane. Fits the scene and is unique. That's why it's my personal favorite of this, and I think is going to be the pick. That's my pick of what they will pick as well.
You mentioning Highest to Lowest, by the way, reminded me. So this is my angriest and my happiest category, because when original score, I asked you, I said, did Highest to Lowest get nominated? You're like, no.
Yeah.
The composer of that movie, he was nominated for his last 2 scores for Spike Lee movies, which were terrible. For Black Klansman, which just had one fucking theme that just came back the entire movie. It would be like if The Departed, like that tango song, won the Oscar, when it's just this, The Departed has one piece of music that they just play every now and then.
Yeah.
And he was nominated for Da 5 Bloods, also starring Delroy Lindo, which had a horrible score. And Highest to Lowest was even worse, which made me think it was going to get even higher chance of being nominated. Thankfully, they left that out.
And on to the easiest category of all time. Best Original Song. The nominees are Dear Me for Diane Warren. Not familiar with that.
Nope.
Golden for K-Pop Demon Hunters. I Lied to You for Sinners. Sweet Dreams of Joy for Viva Verdi, which I don't even know what that is. and Train Dreams from, guess what? Train Dreams. Easiest one. We won't spend a lot of time on this. It's going to be Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters.
It will be Golden.
I like that song a lot. I like K-Pop Demon Hunters. It has 1 billion views on YouTube. Everybody's kid is singing it. There was an interview with Josh Brolin just recently where he said, yeah, my kids made me watch K-Pop Demon Hunters. And I cried. And if the actors in Hollywood are going on interviews talking about how much they love Golden and K-Pop Demon Hunters, it's obviously going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally would vote for Train Dreams just because it's the only song here. Well, I don't even know the song, but it's the only movie here that I've seen and liked. I didn't see K-pop, but yeah, K-pop's going to walk away with it.
Yeah.
Animated feature. The nominees are Argo. No, Argo. Fuck it. It's Argo.
That got nominated again?
They did that thing that Richard Linklater did for A Scanner Darkly where they like painted over the whole thing and they re-released it. So yeah. The nominees are Argo, Elio, what? K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, and Zootopia 2.
Zootopia. Those beers are getting to you, my man.
That was on purpose. I'm getting Down syndrome as I read this list because it's like Arco, Elio, K-pop, the one you've seen.
Yeah.
And then the longest title, Little Amelie or The Character of Rain. Can we stop with the cheeky long titles?
Yeah.
I don't want any more Jordan Peele 1-word titles. I don't want any more 9-word stupid titles.
And I bet, I would hedge a bet that Little Amelie or The Character of Rain is a French animation studio who's doing some gay shit with that.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to be K-Pop Demon Hunters. It, I think, is the most streamed movie on Netflix ever.
That is surprising, but I can kind of see it. I mean, K-pop is one of those things that it transcends languages, continents,
Yeah, everybody's kid has watched it a dozen times at this point. I saw it. I'm not into K-pop, but I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. I thought it was a fun time. It's the same animation studio of the people who did Into the Spider-Verse. Looks fantastic. I thought the animation had a lot of charm. The story is pretty interesting too. It's kind of actually like Sinners in some sense, where throughout Korean history, or I think world history, they always had musicians like fight off the undead or the bad spirits, which is kind of a plot point in Sinners of, I think it just like, what is it? It's some gay bullshit in that one.
His playing was so good. We're not even going to spend time on it. Go back and listen to Sinner Slop if you want to hear us explain it.
Yes.
Fuck that scene.
Fuck Ryan Coogler.
It's not this. By the way, the number of people who are like, it's not that surprising. Yeah, 16 nominations might be a little much. I've seen this narrative a fucking lot. People saying, 16 nominations is excessive, but let's not forget that it's the most nominated movie because it had the best scene of this year, or frankly, any year of the 2020s. And then they attach the fucking scene where he's singing the original song, which is nominated here. Fuck off. That is one of the worst scenes of this year.
Terrible. Terrible movie. But K-Pop Demon Hunters does it a lot better because it's a kid's movie. It's not taking it as seriously as twerking like fights ghosts as it does in Sinners. Funny enough, Lee Byung-hun, who got snubbed for No Other Choice, is in this movie as one of the villains.
The lead actor?
Yes.
From No Other Choice?
Yeah.
Okay.
He speaks English, so he's in here as the main villain. Honestly, if you have a kid, they probably watched this already. This is definitely going to win over Zootopia 2, which some people thought was going to be a dark horse.
I love this. Let's get this tradition going, because this is what happened last year, of where because, K-pop put it in the history books already. Print the headlines that Clinton won the election over Trump.
Yeah.
Print the headlines. It's going to win. There's no changing it. There is no Trump here that's going to overtake it. I do like this tradition of the Pixar slop losing.
Yes.
Because last year, Inside Out 2 lost to the Daniel movie.
Flo.
Yes.
The Daniel, my cat Daniel.
I've just been calling it the Daniel or Tony, my cat.
Yeah.
We put our cats in movies.
Yeah.
We see our cats.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Did you know that it has the most prohibitive bets in Odds Checker?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to bet because the odds are 1 billion to 1, or sorry, the other way around. The odds are extremely, yeah. Well, you have to bet, in order to win $10, you have to bet $10,000.
Oh my God.
Because that's how obvious it's going to, Because an obvious bet, you got to bet a lot to win something because, and the dark horse, the long shot is the one that pays off better, but it's so decided that this is going to win that you have to bet, you'd have to mortgage your house to get the cash to win a McDonald's order's worth of money. That's how obvious it's going to win. So
yeah, and I hope this isn't a Dewey beats Truman, we're printing the newspapers too early thing. But yeah, if this doesn't win, we'll end the podcast.
I'll cut off my penis and eat it on the podcast in the next video.
Caleb, I'll cut off your penis and eat it myself.
Only my penis.
Only your penis.
Yeah.
We're starting to get into the real categories here. The next one is Best Documentary Feature. The nominees are The Alabama Solution, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cutting Through Rocks, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, and The Perfect Neighbor.
This is the biggest wild card of the non-short categories. This is one of the hardest categories to predict, famously.
Yeah. Yeah, for this one, the only one that I've seen, and I do have some reasoning for why I think this would win, is I'm going to put The Perfect Neighbor. We both saw this one, and I think we both agree that it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
This is also produced by Soledad O'Brien Productions, who she used to work on CNN, I believe. And I thought her production company had something else somewhere, but I can't remember exactly. But I think this is going to win because it deals with the skinny of it is like a Karen ends up like shooting somebody, and this deals with like, you know, it's all through police body cam, 99% of it. I think they're probably going to go with this. I've heard talk of the Alabama Solution being better, but then again, I don't think anybody's seen it. Not a lot of people watch documentaries, and they're just going to go, "Oh, Perfect Neighbor, that Netflix, in Netflix Neighbor," and then they're going to vote for that. That's what I think's going to be, and I might watch Alabama Solution, but I think it's going to be Perfect Neighbor.
I have similar thinking. I didn't come to the same conclusion. I have similar thinking though, but then I remembered something. So one thing to know about documentary as a category, in order to nominate in this category, you have to have actually watched all the films. No screeners at home. You have to go to a theater, sign in, and they will throw your ballot in the garbage. If you have not seen all these films, your vote doesn't count. So in order to actually vote on the winner here, you have to have actually signed a paper saying, yes, I was here at this theater, and your assistant can't sign it for you. You have to go get your ass in the chair and watch the movies. So it actually, I guess, is the most fair of all the categories because the voters are actually informed. And maybe that's what makes it so hard to predict, because almost always you're going and not having seen all the docs. So it's natural to presume that the biggest, most popular thing will win. But that actually happens pretty rarely. Bowling for Columbine, Michael Moore's movie, is kind of the only like popular big documentary that makes waves the culture is talking about that then actually does take home the Oscar. Often these documentaries get a lot of attention and then they will just not even get nominated. Or they'll get nominated and lose to something called like The Octopus's Pussy. I'm not even kidding.
I think
because whoever watched it went, wow, that actually was better, but the public didn't hear about it. So The Perfect Neighbor is the blockbuster, I guess, of the group. So it's the safe choice to predict. I think it probably could take it. I don't know if it's relevant enough in the minds of the people voting because, yes, it is the white Karen kills the sister. So it does have that guilt narrative thing going for it. But I got a feeling like it might be Come See Me in the Good Light. Number one, I've also heard about it. So it's, it's good enough that it's on people's radar. And number two, we have a documentary here called Mr. Nobody Against Putin, which I know two things. Number one, it's not going to be a favorable view of Putin. And number two, the Oscar voters have an axe to grind this year because there was an election recently.
Yeah.
So it really could be anything, but I'm going to predict Come See Me in the Good Light.
Okay, and I do want to do a counterpoint for Mr. Nobody Against Putin. There was another documentary that actually got snubbed this year that you can watch on YouTube called 2,000 Meters to Andriivka, which is about the Ukrainian war, and that didn't even make it. So I feel like
the bait doesn't always work.
Yeah, the bait doesn't always work, but then again, one did, and I don't know a lot about this documentary, but I kind of just keep seeing, like, I think it's a thumbnail art, which is Putin's head and, like, some guy sitting next to it, and I'm like, how many people are really watching this?
Yeah.
And another counterpoint is, so like you said, the people actually kind of need to watch all the documentaries and be informed. The problem I had with The Perfect Neighbor is that it's all body cam footage, and that does not make for an interesting documentary a lot of the time, but I feel like a lot of people who don't watch YouTube videos that are just police body cam footage of them shooting people, like you and I do all the time. What I'm saying is it's a novel idea to them, but not to us.
Right.
So they could be like, oh, it's all body cam. This is like a what would be a good term for that?
It's the Birdman of documentaries.
Yes.
It pushes the form.
Exactly. When it really doesn't. But I feel like these 60-year-old people who aren't watching the police mag dump a guy for reaching for his wallet are going to be like, that's crazy. So that's my thought process.
That's also a good point. And that's kind of what this movie has going for it over the typical kind of well-made film that makes its way into this category, is that there might be a little bit of meta thinking here about the fact that they might be a little partial to something that they think the youth will care about, or, there's also the Netflix factor and, campaigning. Money chooses these more than merit, and it doesn't only choose it, but money is a big factor. So Perfect Neighbor does have a lot going for it on like multiple fronts. It is the hip thing because of the body cam angle, but I think this is fair to say, if you're like us and you watch documentaries not only when it's Oscar season, like if you just watch documentaries, you're going to be probably a little bored by it because it's not pushing boundaries as you might imagine based on the log line. Number 10, Nick's angriest category, international feature. We have a pretty predictable list here. We have The Secret Agent. We have The Secret Agent from Brazil. Mm-hmm. We have It Was Just an Accident, France/Iran. Sentimental Value, Norway. Surat, Spain, and not what should be here, the obvious redheaded stepchild in the bunch, the voice of Hind Rajab from Tunisia. Nick, what should be in this fifth place?
No Other Choice. Park Chan-wook's fantastic movie, which got snubbed in every category. Yes. And I'm so fucking mad because Park Chan-wook is one of the greatest directors living today, and that movie is fantastic. Surat, I haven't been able to see it yet because distributors are gay. I've heard it's mid and stupid. Voice of Hind Rajab is definitely the oh my god pick, where it's like basically it's a real story of this. You don't want to be laughing when I explain this, I promise you.
Okay, well, if I don't want to be laughing when you explain it, then I'll lock in. But I just think it's funny that when you're searching for words, your thing is it's the pig. That's the shorthand for it's going to be fucking Jewish and gay.
Which is kind of funny because it's the opposite of Jewish.
Oh, okay.
This is a real life story of a girl named Hind Rajab.
God damn, is this about child rape?
No.
Okay.
Better? I'm not sure. She is a girl who died in the Gaza war, and there was a famous phone call of, I believe, her and somebody else on the phone with paramedics, and this is about that story. Same thing with, there was another international movie from Palestine that got shortlisted called Palestine 36, and I saw it and I thought it was mid. And I don't really understand why it got shortlisted besides the fact that it's a political thing. And like I said, I haven't seen this movie yet, but there isn't really a lot of talk about this. And if anything, Surat or Voice of Hind Rajab should be replaced by No Other Choice. I mean, I don't know why he's been snubbed for so long.
Park Chan-wook, who you mentioned, he's most notable, after this movie. This movie is kind of more popular than a lot of his, because he had No Other Choice, not No Other Choice. Decision to Leave?
Decision to Leave was 22,
These 3-word movies. He had Decision to Leave a few years ago, which had some rumblings, but didn't get any Oscar attention, as none of his movies have, and it was kind of, understandable. This movie is big enough, and there's a big enough reaction to, what, no Oscar, that it might become with time, the bigger, footnote in his career than Old Boy, which, we've talked about. Yeah. But you mentioned earlier, and I didn't remember this, because I, for some reason, thought that Decision to Leave did get, a foreign film nomination and just nothing else. Apparently, nothing he's ever made has been nominated. Old Boy famously did not make the cut for foreign film.
Yeah.
You'd think, because the Oscars love do-overs.
Yeah.
They love nominating things that are less good later. It's One Boner. It's PTA taking home Oscars this year for One Boner. It's not his best. It's not in his top 5, probably, but better late than never. They're still not getting it.
Yes. And, I might as well use this opportunity to say what No Other Choice should be nominated for. Lee Byung-hun for Best Leading Actor. He was fantastic in it. The lady who plays his wife, I think I'm remembering it correctly, is Son Ye-jin. She's fantastic in that movie. She She's like the perfect partner in crime.
Mm-hmm.
She's the dream woman that every husband wants.
Okay.
And not that you should be nominated for that, but everything she's doing progresses the plot, and it's interesting to watch her on screen. And I'm so mad that she didn't get nominated. The Oscars are racist, but against Asians people.
So you're saying she plays a Kadaif? Korean tradwife?
Yes, she really does. Yeah, she stands by her man like Tammy Wynette. It should also be nominated for Best Editing. There are some transitions in that movie that are insanely unique, just like in Decision to Leave. Maybe even a Best Cinematography if they want to go that route. There's a scene where somebody snaps their fingers, and it's almost like a literal match cut, where as they snap, it transforms to somebody lighting their lighter. You've maybe seen it online if you're on Twitter or anything. It is fantastic. I can't believe it got snubbed for some fucking stupid movie. What snubbed it then?
Everything. It could have gotten Best Picture, Best Director. Screenplay.
Yeah, this is why I hate Sinners. There's no way. But, no other choice should be here. But if I had to make a choice on what I think is going to win, it's also what I want to win. I think it's going to be Sentimental Value.
I agree.
There's some buzz around Secret Agent. Wagner Moura won at the Golden Globes Best Actor. And I forget if he won Best Non-English Language Film. Yeah,
The Secret Agent had a surprise victory at the Golden Globes for foreign film. I would say don't give that too much weight because the Golden Globes can be, they can line up with the Oscars. They can also be way fucking off.
Yeah.
In every category, all the time. So they don't really say as much about what's favored by the Academy. Also, the Golden Globes voting base is like 80 people. Yeah. So it's a much smaller group. So it's not as good for predicting stuff like that. But it does give you a hint that there definitely is a strong campaign there. I do think, though, that Sentimental Value ekes it out. I mean, here's the biggest factor. Look at how many nominations Sentimental Value got.
Sentimental Value got 9 nominations, which is amazing.
Secret Agent got what? 2? 3?
Yeah, not a lot.
If you're just weighing it by virtue of what got the most love by the multiple different branches, you clearly have a way bigger amount of people who loved Sentimental Value, or you just saw it even, than anything else here. So that makes it like it's easy to get that 20-something%. So that alone makes it the safe bet. But I would say I wouldn't be mad about Sentimental Value losing to It Was Just an Accident or The Secret Agent. I haven't seen Secret Agent yet, but if it's good, I mean, you can spread out the love. Sentimental Value might get other awards. So
sure, I think there's at least one other award that I'm pretty confident is going to win that we'll get onto. But Secret Agent, if it wins, great. It Was Just an Accident won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and has kind of been snubbed in a lot of other categories. I mean, Jafar Panahi, who's absolutely going to get his head cut off when he goes back to Iran. He's already going to serve a prison sentence for making this movie specifically. Did not get a Best Director. We got Chloe Zhao for him.
The one accident after another, as I've been calling it, had so much buzz. We've talked about this trend where recently the Cannes Film Festival is actually a better predictor of future Oscar nominations than other stuff, which it didn't used to be.
Yeah.
Pretty rare that stuff that won big awards at Cannes. But since the Academy has such a bigger collection of foreign, or I guess just like foreign to this country, but just members from all around the globe who live in other countries. You get nominations for foreign films in the non-foreign film category more frequently. So it's not unusual to have multiple foreign films here that have nominations elsewhere. It Was Just an Accident seemed like the one that was going to probably get a lot of crossover nominations, definitely take home the Foreign Film Award, or International as they call it now, and maybe Screenplay, Best Original Screenplay. Panahi was winning some writing awards here and there. Secret Agent won Best Actor at Cannes. It's like, okay, Wagner Moura, he went on to get a nomination. These things seem to correlate, and then It Was Just an Accident just sort of dropped off the face of the earth recently. It's just not really winning anything anymore, and it's barely getting nominated. And it's only getting nominated in the things people thought it was going to win. And I don't think it's going to win anything at this point.
Yeah, it's completely dropped out of the race. Yeah. And I like that movie well enough. Sentimental Value, I think, is better. And I would even put No Other Choice above It Was Just an Accident. But it's one of those things where it's like, I thought that was going to be like let's rally around him because he's making, he's literally getting arrested for this movie.
Yeah.
But then they kind of were like, we don't care anymore. And I don't really know why.
I don't understand it. and it's weird that the secret agent of the non-sentimental value films, the secret agent is getting more love than it was just an accident, which if it's merit-based, I love it. I'm just so surprised to see people not rallying behind the message they want to send, because that's almost always what it is.
Yeah.
And you'd think you'd want to send some kind of like, fuck you, Iran, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, no, because Trump's combative with Iran. We got to do 3D chess here. So they want to be pro-Iran.
Iranian
Iranian government, because Trump is full Israeli. So you have to think, so Trump on opposite sides than the Iran government. Iran government is anti, it was just an accident because they considered it propaganda.
Yeah.
So the Academy is anti-Panahi.
Which means they're going to vote for sentimental value.
Yes.
Sentimental value sweep, Joachim Trier.
There's no other choice.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the people were making a lot of memes of the dude holding the pot, which is the poster, you know, the flower pot or whatever.
Yeah.
Of like, you know, me to the Academy for not. If you know what the plot of No Other Choice is about, they really did walk into that by snubbing it.
Yes.
They're just radicalizing tons of young men like Mr. Hudson here.
Absolutely. Guys, I recommend you see, out of these, No Other Choice, Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident. Those are ones I've seen that I would recommend. I haven't seen the other one, Secret Agent yet, or Surah or Voice of Heinrich. And the next category is Best Cinematography. The nominees are Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Now, in my brain, I think they're going to give this to Sinners because they're like movies shot at night. I mean it good. What I really want is Train Dreams, and some people have called this like a Terrence Malick light.
Yeah.
But I thought it was beautiful. I might be a little biased because it was filmed in Washington, in like Spokane, Colville, parts of Snoqualmie. Not really.
And takes place in Washington.
And takes place in Washington, too. I love the forest. I love how they captured the forest and building the train tracks and that story. I thought it looked amazing.
Yeah.
So if that wins, I'll be happy. But I think this is another one that they're just going to give to Sinners. I mean, One Battle could win because of that famous road scene near the end. But I think overall, this is just going to be a thing of just like, okay, they show fire at night. Then they have the glow in the vampire eyes and it black people at night. Whoa, that's crazy.
I think that this is taking home best cinematography for the year for multiple reasons. Number one, and none of them being just sinner love, like for the movie. I think that Sinners has a lot of things going for it. Number one, the cinematography category rarely goes to the movie that had the best cinematography. This is one where instead of replacing it with most, replace the word best with new. This award often goes to movies that have kind of average cinematography or you know, not that much better than a lot of other things you tend to get, but there was something that you've never seen before. And this movie did have we're taping a camera to Michael B. Jordan's chest and pointing it up at his chin and using AI to make him two people in one scene.
That's right, yeah.
So that is like one piece. That's not enough for it to win, but that's one piece. Number two, it is a movie that is generally favored to win like technical awards where it can, and there isn't anything else here that is prohibitively so much better, at least in the opinion of the majority of people. Train Dreams is definitely the cinephile's pick to win, and it's the most pleasing. You know, it's the every frame a painting movie where you could pause at any point. It looks gorgeous. So it has its shooters for that reason. One Battle, basically, this should be PTA being nominated here. He hasn't worked with a cinematographer technically since Phantom Thread. This movie has a credited cinematographer, probably because they just wanted to be able to get nominated. They're not going to nominate PTA since he's not in the guild, because if you don't belong to the fucking cartels and guilds and all this bullshit, just, you know, bullshit that you have to in order for this to happen. So, you know, and it didn't really have any striking visuals that I care about. So I don't think there's any chance for that to win. Marty Supreme would be deserving. Darius Kanji, he's been nominated before. He's a renowned cinematographer. He did great work on it. I would be happy with it winning, but I don't feel a big like groundswell. Frankenstein could take it because Dan Laustin has been nominated before. He's been working with Del Toro recently. He was nominated on Shape of Water. He was nominated on Nightmare Alley. I personally hate Dan Laustin's aesthetic. I think the way that these movies are shot, I hate shooting everything on a Steadicam at like a 25 millimeter lens, which for the uninitiated, wider than your eyesight. So everything's kind of aberrated, but not crazy, but there. And everything is just like completely unseeable. Everything's lit. It's lighting spaces instead of faces, which I'm okay with if you do it well, but I don't think they do it well. I fucking despise the way that these movies are shot.
This is what I was talking about earlier when I said it reminded me of just like Harry Potter. And even more so like I'm at Universal on a fucking Harry Potter ride.
Yes.
Everything is just like all these sweeping things. And I'm like, well, Frankenstein is this very like gothic novel in my brain. I don't want to think that I'm going to see somebody flying on a broom nearby.
Yeah.
It took me completely out of the movie. And if he wins, I'm going to kill.
Yourself, not anyone else. No harm to anyone else.
Yeah.
You can kill my penis. How about that? You can kill me. You can threaten to kill me.
You can kill your penis. Sure, I'll kill your penis if Frankenstein wins. We can shake on that.
Next category is Best Adapted Screenplay. The nominees are Begonia. And we don't have the writers' names here. I tried to remember. I think it's Will Tracy for Begonia. I wanted to mention. I'll come back to that. Frankenstein, written by Del Toro. By the way, all these are just written by the director, except for Begonia. Hamnet, written by Chloe Zhao. One Battle After Another by PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson. And Train Dreams, adapted by two people from the novel by Dennis Johnson. I'm predicting that One Battle is taking it.
Same.
It's the obvious choice here in terms of narrative. I think it is the third least. Oh, wow. Yeah, it is one of the better ones. Okay, yeah, I don't really like these screenplays. But it's better than Frankenstein and Hamnet. Yeah. But I think Train Dreams and Begonia would be better choices. None of them have any chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like Train Dreams, but yeah, I agree. I feel like not a lot of people really cared too much about to look into the subtext on that. But One Battle, I don't hate the screenplay. And I don't know if they're looking so much so at generally how good it was like as a movie or the faithfulness, because I heard some people had a problem with Train Dreams adapting certain things from the novel. I didn't read it, so I can't remember what. And we were talking earlier about like Vineland is not a faithful adaptation, but I am fine with broadly the screenplay. I have some problems at the beginning and end.
Yeah. I have problems. So Frankenstein, I fucking, if I haven't made it clear, I despise that screenplay. Hamnet, I think, is just very bare bones. I think that both of these nominations, delete them. What that leaves you with is Begonia, One Battle, and Train Dreams. Now, Begonia, of those three options, I think Begonia probably has my favorite screenplay. I think it's the most, it's the best at doing all of the things, I guess. Some people consider screenplay awards should go to the movie with the best dialogue. Others think it's, the best story, or, like sometimes this award literally just goes to a movie that has a plot twist. If it just pulls off a plot twist, sometimes that can win, like a Jojo Rabbit. That doesn't have a great screenplay with all this memorable, awesome dialogue. It has a few scenes people remember, but it does have that ending where the character does the surprising thing at the end you don't expect. Get Out, this award can go to a lot of movies where it's like, you just pulled off something we didn't see coming. So I think Begonia does all of those things. It has good dialogue, has a good plot. It does have a surprising ending that I think it pulls off decent.
Yeah.
Train Dreams, I've read the book. I read the book way before this was in production. This is one of the few times I just already had read something that got turned into a movie that wasn't like a famous novel. Now, it was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 2012, I think right before Dennis Johnson's death. Didn't win. It's a very spare novella, and the movie is extremely faithful to my memory of the novel. It's been a while since I read it. There isn't a ton of plot, and from what I can remember, the movie tells the exact same story with about the same amount of time given to the incidents and anecdotes along the way. So I'm surprised to hear people are criticizing that. I gotta imagine people criticizing that are people who have never read it or learned about it after the movie. Because as someone who has read that book, not recently, but recently enough and liked it, I didn't see anything to take umbrage with. So that's strange to me. But yeah, One Battle's coming home with it.
Yeah, I would agree. And, like I said, I don't know anything about what really happens in the Train Dreams, like, what's lost in adaptation. But I had seen it quite a bit, so I thought I should just bring it up. It's not just, this may just be hearsay. I guess by definition it is hearsay. But there's like a non-zero amount of people who take problems with it for some reason. And I don't understand it. But yeah, I would agree. I think Begonia, the dialogue in Begonia is my favorite. out of the movies, but I think One Battle is just going to take it.
Yeah.
The next award is for Best Original Screenplay. The nominees are Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I think I may be on some hopium right now, but I think, and this is, I hope in my heart, I hope this is Sentimental Value. And I'm going to put it as my pick for what they're going to choose.
Okay.
I may be, no way to put it, but I think there's enough buzz around the movie in general, because Blue Moon and It Was Just an Accident, I think, are just completely washed out of really a lot of awards chances. Marty Supreme haven't seen. Sinners is probably going to be the one that like people would probably just put if they just only like close their eyes while watching Sentimental Value. Yeah. But I've read the screenplay for Sentimental Value, and there are surprisingly a lot of things that are cut out of the movie, I think, for the better. And I don't know how much that really plays into it. I know they're probably just watching the movie and not reading the screenplay. But it does show how tightly Joachim Trier and I think his name is like Eskil Voigt, some crazy Nordic name.
It's weird because I couldn't see it in my head what that guy's name was, but when you said it, I feel like I saw in my mind the poster where it says written by those two. Yeah, yes. I think you are right.
And I believe he's collaborated with him before on Worst Person in the World and maybe something else. But I think it is the best screenplay by a lot in here. Mm-hmm. I didn't really care for a lot of the writing, and It Was Just an Accident. I think a lot of it is very long-winded. Blue Moon, I turned off halfway through, so that's my disclaimer.
So you also thought it was long-winded.
Disclaimer out of the way. Haven't seen Marty Supreme. Sinners, I mean, that movie really doesn't have... If the thing that people are loving about Sinners isn't that it's like smartly written, because a lot of it is just like, you trying to get into our juke joint. What are you, y'all clan?
Yeah.
Cinema Value is extremely layered. I've seen it twice. I may even rewatch it for a third time. There's so much subtext that is just expertly written, and so many things that you can infer about the characters that make you love the movie even more on a rewatch. Once we get into these, you're going to see that is kind of my front runner movie. You know, obviously, guess what I chose for Best Picture, which I want, I should say. Yeah.
But you are officially predicting that Sentimental Value is the thing that's most likely to win.
I will go out on a limb here and say Sentimental Value is going to take Best Original Screenplay. Yeah, I think, honestly, overall, that Sinners is going to get a lot of nominations, but not as many wins as people think. I
agree.
Yeah.
I think it's going home with less than 8 Oscars.
I would agree.
And it's not, I mean, I say that just, it's going to win less than half of what it, you know.
Yeah. But this will be my kind of dark horse thing where it's like, I think Sentimental Value is going to take it. But what do you think?
I think you've been smoking a lot of hopium. I think you need to put down the hope pipe. Now, I think that would be a deserved pick. I would be happy with 3 of these winning. I think that It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, or Sentimental Value. None of them, if any of those won, I wouldn't be saying, oh, that's bullshit. I'd go, okay, I'm happy for them. And maybe I would have personally liked a different one, but I'm fine with it. Blue Moon, I would not be happy with it winning. It also has no chance. It is the redheaded stepchild of these nominees. Mm-hmm. It really only made it in here just by virtue of the fact that several of the other favorites were all adapted from things.
Yeah.
So Blue Moon, no chance. It Was Just an Accident, almost no chance. Marty Supreme and Sentimental Value are the 2 most likely that I would be the most happy with. I think for what is the most deserving, I agree, Sentimental Value. I think that achieved the most with its, script. The scope of it, how it's laid out in creative ways, in a non-linear fashion that isn't gimmicky, with the opening. I don't want to say too much, but you should just watch it. Yeah. And the dialogue is great, and the characters and how they're drawn, I think it achieves the most. It's the most deserving, but I was once a hopeful child, and I've seen the way these screenplay awards go.
Yeah.
The best screenplay awards in the last 10 years have really become the participation award for sinners. Get Out, Black Klansman, Jojo Rabbit, others that I might be able to think of if I wasn't drinking beers. Now, the Screenplay Award, it is the biggest award you can give to something that really isn't deserving, but you do need to give it some love anyway. Foreign films have a hard time in this category. They have won. Parasite won Best Original Screenplay.
Didn't Anatomy of a Fall?
Anatomy of a Fall, yes, did. And Talk to Her, the Pedro Almodovar movie, and others. Un homme et une femme, which means what, Nick?
A man and a woman.
Yes, in 1966, won Best Original Screenplay. It's happened, but it's a little more rare. Sentimental Value has a shot and should win on merit, but I would personally bet, if I were putting money down, I would bet on Sinners being the more likely take, because there's probably a slightly bigger number of people who, number one, didn't see Sentimental Value and did see Sinners, so they're going to pick the one they know, even if they would probably like Sentimental Value more if they actually watched it. Mm-hmm. And I think there's also a bigger number of people who, whether they've seen the movies or not, are going to go, oh, well, this is a safe pick for Sinners, because I'm not voting for it for Best Picture. And I'm not voting for it for Best Director. But I'm also an anti-racist. So Best Original Screenplay to the movie with horrible dialogue.
Yes.
No story. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess technically like a little bit of a story, but no plot or plotting. Some of the biggest lapses in logic I've ever seen.
The entire third act of the movie is like, why did you do that?
Yeah. It would be insane for this to be an Oscar-winning thing, but it's a way to give Ryan Coogler an Oscar. Again, the best screenplay nominees are often just the directors because everyone just writes their own scripts now. Mm-hmm. Next category is Best Director. Nominees are Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, Joachim Trier, Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler, Sinners. Very happy Del Toro did not get nominated here. He was nominated at the Directors Guild, and the DGA Awards and the Oscar Best Director categories often lines up. Mm-hmm. At least 4 out of the 5. Thank God Del Toro was that 5, but I'm not happy with most of these nominees. Or half the nominees.
Sure. I mean, I'm glad Joachim got in there.
Yeah.
Because I think the way the characters act in Sentimental Value definitely seemed inspired.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's here. I think this is going to be a PTA win if I'm looking at this, because, I mean, this could be Ryan Coogler as well, but I'm also predicting a very, like, big underperformance from Sinners, like I said earlier. So, I mean, yeah, I think PTA is going to win this.
Yeah.
Just because... Has he won a Best Director before?
No. Paul Thomas Anderson has been nominated now after these nominations, I think 14 or 15 times. I think it was 10 or 11 prior. He's never won an Oscar. He's been nominated for director 3 times before this. Mm-hmm. He's been nominated for Best Screenplay 5 or 6, maybe 5, and then Best Picture a couple times because he has been the nominated producer on his movies the last few times they've gotten attention. Mm-hmm. He had an awards narrative that built up but couldn't push him over the edge for Phantom Thread, after he famously could not get the Oscar for There Will Be Blood, which was the deserved pick, but it was the same year as No Country for Old Men. The Coen brothers were also overdue, so, you know, even though one of them is the better movie, it lost. But Phantom Thread, despite it never having a chance of winning, it got the nomination and had a lot of support, but couldn't quite get there. It was too much his weird thing and not enough of what the Academy will bite at. And then Licorice Pizza, same exact scenario. Got nominated for Screenplay, Director, Picture. That's the only nominations the movie got. But not enough. It was too PTA-ish. He's now settled and said, okay, fine, I'm going to make a black action movie and you're going to give me some fucking Oscar gold. And it's going to happen. I mean, this is as sure as the rotation of the earth, as Steve Bannon would say.
Yeah, bring Steve Bannon into this.
I would not vote for PTA here, even for the sentimental pick of, oh, but he's overdue. I just don't think this movie, it's not a movie where you say, wow, if that were directed by anyone else, it wouldn't be even close to as good. No, a ton of people could make this movie and make it better.
Sure.
You know, there's tons of stuff wrong with it, in my opinion. Especially decisions from the director's chair. Not to sound pretentious about it. I would be way more happy with Josh Safdie or Joachim Trier taking this, but they have no chance.
Yeah.
I would personally probably split the vote. I don't even know which one I'd pick. I think both movies were perfectly directed. I have no issues with the directorial choices in either, and I think they're creative and they have all the stuff that deserves it. But I mean, no chance, snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler, I think, is a lot of people's idea of number 2 pick. I guess he is the number 2, but it's a long distance from number 1 to number 2 here. Chloe Zhao, hey, you made Nomadland, we'll nominate you again. You made some Oscar bait. Get the fuck out of here. 0% chance she wins.
Yeah, I think she made some terrible decisions in Hamnet where I was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Why you do that. And it's fresh in my mind still because we just saw it today. So kind of baffling pick.
Yeah.
You know who should actually be here instead of her? Park Chan-wook.
Yeah. Put Park Chan-wook in this category. Put Panahi for It Was Just an Accident. Sure. I think, honestly, if you're going to give that a non-foreign film nomination, I think the director nomination is more deserved than the screenplay
He got it at the Golden Globes, too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And then fucking Judd Apatow
was like, how do I pronounce this name? Terrible. Now, this next one is actually a fairly competitive category.
Yes.
Best Supporting Actress. We have Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Ibsdottir Lilius for Sentimental Value as well, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners, and Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Now, you might think I'm on the hopium here, but this actually does kind of have some track record.
Okay.
So Teyana Taylor won at the Golden Globes for this.
Yes.
And I rewatched this movie with my dad last night, and after he finished it, he's like, she won the Golden Globe for this? She's barely in the movie, and she's bad.
Yes.
But I won't put it past people just being like, our Black Queen, slay.
Right.
I don't think she deserves it. I think because, even though these movies are historically snubbed, I think it's going to be Amy Madigan.
Really?
I think so. Wunmi Mosaku, I barely remember her from Sinners.
Yeah.
And I think she barely does anything in the movie. If it went to the Sentimental Girls, that would be great. I know Inga and Elle have both won some awards in the circuit in the, the lower ones. Yeah. But there is a genuine big push for Amy Madigan because she's been an actress for ages.
Yes.
And been in a lot of good movies. And
she's an emerging artist.
She's an emerging artist as some guy called Delroy Lindo, who's not an emerging artist.
Who's the only actor in Sinners who's like been around and around and around. Old man. I don't love him, but that's just a hilarious thing to say. To Amy Madigan is an emerging artist to a lot of cinephiles.
Yes.
Because most people will probably know her as Shanice from Uncle Buck. Mm-hmm. But she is great and deserving of the praise for this movie. I would love if she won, but I'm less sure than you. But you said there's precedent?
Yes, I know she has won at certain award shows beforehand. And there is a really big push of people saying, at her as Aunt Gladys, the antagonist in Weapons. Fantastic villain. Steals every scene. And it could be Teyana Taylor, but I'm really just kind of hoping and seeing some of the writing on the wall. Same with when I picked Sentimental Value for a screenplay.
Yeah.
I feel like there is just enough to push her over that I'm seeing, and I'm not confident in this pick, but I am going to pick her. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'll go down swinging, picking a woman who actually deserves this. If it goes to the Sentimental Chicks, I'd also be happy, but I'm in Amy Madigan's corner.
It's kind of funny. When we were talking, before we actually hit record, when we were talking just generally about the Oscar nominations in person for the first time, I told you, there's almost nothing on this list where what I would personally vote for is what I predict winning. This is the one category where I predict Amy Madigan, and I would vote for Amy Madigan. Now, I want to clarify. Mm-hmm. I have extremely little faith in my prediction because here's the thing. So the merit-based choice that people agree should get it, that then loses out to something else, usually loses out to something else that is either also a overdue actor or it's a like genuinely great thing where it's just kind of apples and oranges. Mm-hmm. The most like easy example of this that comes to mind is Sylvester Stallone losing the Oscar for Creed to Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. Mark Rylance gives a great performance in that movie. He couldn't have done it better. And it's sort of an apples and oranges, and they went with the good actor instead of the guy who made a million bad movies and then one good movie. Also directed by Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
It's weird. Mm-hmm. So Amy Madigan has a lot of ways to lose this. But I think there's no chance that either of the Sentimental Value actresses here or the Sinner actress have any shot. I think that Elle Fanning and Inga Ibsdottir? What's her name?
Ibsdottir Lilius.
Oh, it is pronounced how it's spelled. Okay. I think that neither of them are like prohibitively better than the other. So I think they a little bit cancel each other out, kind of like Pesci and Pacino in The Irishman.
They might split the vote too in this category for people who like Sentimental Value.
Yeah. And then that helps the person who only has, the narratives for other reasons. And in that case, it's Teyana Taylor, because even though Amy Madigan has the support from people who have a brain in their skull, Teyana Taylor has the, like, just we was Kang's narrative. I don't know why.
Yeah.
This is a terrible performance in a portion of the movie that we've both rewatched One Battle, and we'll discuss this in more detail later, but we both agreed, rewatching it, you go, holy shit, the movie really is pretty good when she's not in it.
Yes, literally the moment she leaves is when my dad and I were like, oh, this is good.
This is pretty good. Yeah, she is awful in this movie. Now, as I said when we reviewed One Battle After Another, I don't think it's not a level of acting where you would remark on it otherwise. You wouldn't go, I watched a good movie that had one of the worst performances. You know, it's not bad in that sense, but there's nothing remarkable about it.
Yeah.
It is a nothing role performed by this just like ancestor meme, plastic surgery ass, ugly inside and out character that is not likable. No charisma, no compelling. There is just it's like how people talk about deafening silence. Like there is a deafening lack of anything to appreciate about this performance. But for whatever reason, it has so much support. It has like Sinner logic support for One Battle. Hang on, let me clarify what I mean by that. When we're talking about Sinners, where it's like, hey, it's nominated for best, shoes. And it's like, well, I guess they might give it to Sinners because they loved that movie so much for some reason. This is One Battle's most like, it's really just nominated because we're going along for the ride. Like a lot of these nominations, they're not shoo-ins to win there, but it makes sense why it's one of the 5. This really is just the most carried, like, hey, you're in the movie, so you're coming along for the ride kind of thing. But she has been winning a lot of awards. Amy Madigan is her biggest competition. I think that justice will prevail. I think there's enough people who say, I know what a performance is, and one of these is not one.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm very afraid.
So you're on the hopium with me.
I'm touching that hopium pipe.
You're 51% to 49 Tiana Taylor.
This is definitely a 2016, it's coming down to 5,000 votes in 2 counties kind of election.
In Wisconsin and Ohio. I would love to see, first of all, what is the Academy's problem with horror movies? I mean, there are definite outliers or thrillers Silence of the Lambs or I already forgot the other one, but
The Exorcist.
That was it. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And it's very rare, but I mean, if Weapons was going to get a nomination, I would like it for Amy Madigan. Yeah,
a nomination,
or I'm saying of all the things Weapons could have been nominated for, I'm pretty sure Amy Madigan was the only one.
It is the only nomination.
Yeah.
Weapons got 1 Oscar nomination.
Yeah,
and which is weird.
Yeah,
I was predicting 2, and we'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay,
there's another one that looked like it was going to happen, and then it somehow didn't, which baffles me when you see what beat it out. Anyway, we'll get to that. There is one other thing that helps Amy Madigan here, and this is why I'm ultimately selecting it. There is precedent that I can cite of best supporting actor or actress is code for best villain. Not all the time. When you have a great performance delivered by an actor playing a role of an antagonist in an otherwise appreciated movie, that is an archetype that wins more Oscars than any other archetype in these 2 categories. Hans Landa, the Joker, Javier Bardem as Anton Sugar in No Country. That was 3 years in a row of villains winning. And if you look at the best supporting actor, I mean, it's often more the actors than the actresses. Actresses tend to win Oscars usually for being just the woman in the movie who was good, especially in best supporting actress, like the girl who won for The Holdovers. If you watch that movie, you would never think that's an Oscar-winning role. It's just, she's doing her job, but it is. It's kind of slim pickings because there aren't really that many movies that come out the Academy sees that have good roles for women. But villains have a good chance here, and this is an iconic villain. It's a great performance by a respected actress. I think that's enough. Like I said, 5,000 votes in 2 counties, but I think that is enough juice.
I think so too. It's, like I said, not confident, but if I had to choose one, that will be my prediction. That it will just barely win. I wish we could see the votes on this, by the way, for the Academy, because I really want to see the Moonlight La La Land thing. Was it really close?
Yes. Yeah.
I would like to think so. but who knows?
I would love to know how close Toni Collette got to being nominated for Hereditary. That was one of the biggest that year.
She's fantastic in that.
That year, and I'm a very good predictor. I've walked out of movies where I say that's winning Best Actress. No nominations yet. Like I can do that sometimes. Mm-hmm. That year, I was like, oh, Toni Collette is taking home Best Actress for Hereditary, and Ethan Hawke is taking home Best Actor for First Reformed. Then the Oscar nominations came out, and neither one of them got in there, and I went, wow, they're really not winning because they didn't even crack the top 5.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Anyway. Best Supporting Actor, Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value.
So, 2 things off the bat. Jacob Elordi and Delroy Lindo should not be on this list.
Agree.
Whatsoever. Now, this is one where I'm going to break from my pack. I predict that Stellan Skarsgård is going to win this because he won the Golden Globe. And it is also that thing of it's his first nomination, but I do think he's overdue for something.
Yeah,
and I
do mainstream recognition.
And he is great in Sentimental Value. I loved him in it. But oh my goodness, Sean Penn is a 10 out of 10 performance. Yeah. Rewatching this with my dad, we were both just like, Lockjaw's a terrible dude, but my God, does he capture a scene. Yes. Every scene he steals is a fantastic character. He is acting his ass off. The physical acting of Sean Penn walking with like his, at one point limp, but also like the too good of a posture, like Boy Scout type. Yeah. His facial acting, my goodness, it is a top, probably one of my favorite performances of the decade.
Yeah.
He is fantastic in it. And now this is kind of a little unfair to Stellan because he's also great. He's playing just a different character. Mm-hmm. Sean Penn steals the movie. But for some reason, I feel like the Academy is going to be a little apprehensive of giving the award to a guy playing a white nationalist.
Yes.
So I think it's going to go to Stellan, and there's some awards buzz around him. But my God, if Sean could win this, I'd be so happy. But I think it's going to be Stellan.
I think your thinking is sound. I think your prediction is valid. Of these nominees, I mean, we talked about how Elordi and Lindo shouldn't be here. They also have no chance. There's no chance either of them could win for this. Mm-hmm. It is going to be Sean Penn or Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah. It's just a matter of, similar with the last category, it's just a matter of, is it more the narrative or the merit? I think that Sean Penn's performance still has a chance, but it's looking less and less like a sure thing almost every day because he's not winning awards for this. It's happened, but it's not happening enough. He's getting nominated everywhere. He is definitely the number 1 or 2, but it's looking like he's closer to 2. The Golden Globes was kind of the first big moment that's going to decide this thing. There have been times, especially in the supporting actor category of recent year, there have been times where it looks like one person's going to sweep. They're winning awards everywhere. Then one awards body that's kind of a major one gives an award to someone else, and it kind of flips. This happened a few years ago with the kid from There's a Dog on the Hill because I'm autistic. What was that movie
Power
called?
of the Dog.
Power of the Dog.
Yeah.
The kid in that movie from X-Men, I forget his name, but the weird-eyed kid, he was winning awards everywhere. And then the father character from Coda, Troy Kotzer, won like the SAG award or something. And then suddenly every major award body gave him the award. I don't think that was people shifting, going, oh, we just have to do this now. I think there was enough love for it. But I think that as soon as there was an awards body that gave the other actor a thing, and then enough people saw that speech, they went, oh, I want to recreate this at the Oscars. I want to have the deaf guy, because we never give awards to disabled people, because how many times is there a movie that requires a performance from an actor who actually has that disability where they're going to actually be doing awards quality work, right? It's a less common thing. And that's not the exact same scenario here, but it is analogous because Sean Penn has done nothing if not disrespect Hollywood and the Academy for 20 years straight.
Yeah.
He's one of the best actors to ever live. He's won 2 Oscars. If he did win for One Battle, it would put him in a group of like 5 actors who've ever won 3 or more. Up there with Jack Nicholson, Daniel Day-Lewis, Meryl Streep, and Katharine Hepburn. He would be 5. Mm-hmm. I got a feeling there's enough people who are like, fuck you, Sean Penn. And also Sean Penn isn't like a Mark Ruffalo type where it's, I'm political, but I pick one side. He is on his own side.
Yes.
So there's also the alienation factor of that. And people probably saying, you're too unpredictable. I don't want you on that stage talking about Ukraine and your trans girlfriend and whatever else is going on here. That's real, by the way. So I think that's enough to hurt him. And I think that's what's probably kept him from really picking up awards. I think that Stellan Skarsgård's speech at the Golden Globes was that moment of, oh, this is a moment we'd like to recreate.
Yes.
A classy guy. We love him. He was good enough to deserve the award on merit. Mm-hmm. But the thing that would lose it for him, which is the merit, because I do agree, Sean Penn, I think that is one of the best performances of this decade. I don't know if that's enough. I think that narratives matter a little more here. I don't know if money is going to make a difference, but One Battle is already taking home a lot of awards. It doesn't need more attention. And it seems like, honestly, Benicio del Toro's role in that movie has gotten way more praise.
Surprisingly.
Very surprisingly. He's barely in it, like screen time wise. And I'm not one of those people that's like, they're not in it enough. It's a supporting role. If they were good enough in 5 minutes, it's good enough.
And he is good in the movie for what he does.
Yeah, it's fine.
I enjoyed him on screen.
Yeah. But somehow Del Toro has won more awards than Sean Penn, which is crazy. Wow. But, I think I'm predicting Stellan. I would personally pick Sean Penn. I think Sean Penn has a good chance. At the time of this recording, the SAG Awards haven't happened. They're the biggest predictor. Mm-hmm. But the Critics' Choice has happened. Golden Globes has happened. I can't imagine BAFTA is going to give him the... no one likes Sean Penn is the problem. I mean, he's liberal Mel Gibson. Like, there's no way he's getting on that stage.
And that's why he rules. I sent you something that was so funny. I was looking at his Wikipedia page under controversies, which is a hilarious page to look on anybody's Wikipedia. Yes. And it was just like he made a fund for Haiti. And it said, like, there were some detractors that said, like, you haven't even been to Haiti, you don't even speak French. What do you say to your detractors? And it said, you can, quote, get rectal cancer.
I hope they die screaming of rectal cancer. Yes.
So hilarious. Also, I've just started watching the Charlie Sheen documentary. Sean Penn is hilarious, and he's just smoking the entire time. He was smoking at the Golden Globes, and there was somebody like, why is he doing that? He can't be doing that indoors. And it's like,
illegal.
Fuck you. He's Sean Penn and Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, whatever his name is. Fantastic character. He should win.
I realized right as I said he's liberal Mel Gibson, in my mind I went, I've heard that somewhere. I realized I heard it from you. You were talking about.
Yeah. Next category is leading actress. The nominees are Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, no relation, Renata Reinsve for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Begonia. Now, we just, a couple hours ago, walked out of Hamnet. I didn't really love that movie, but Jessie Buckley, I think, was one of the best parts of it. I think this is going to her, and there is some award track record. She won at the Golden Globes for this. I feel pretty confident saying that she is going to win. Out of all these people, Rose Byrne, I didn't really like that movie, but she is probably the best actor or actress in it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have just like put a fatwa on Kate Hudson's head for some reason. I haven't seen Song Sung Blue. I'm not going to see it because it looks dumb.
Can I say, I want you to retell what you told me off mic. So I learned about this today. I thought that Song Sung Blue was a biopic about
Neil Diamond.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And that Kate Hudson played... I don't know anything about Neil Diamond except that song he did in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood trailer.
Yeah.
So I just thought, this is him. Hugh Jackman's playing him. I don't even know what he looks like. So as far as I know, okay, so that must be him. And Kate Hudson's playing his wife or partner. And it's like walk the line for Neil Diamond.
Sure.
And
you would be forgiven for thinking that. Song Sung Blue is about Neil Diamond impersonators.
Yes.
And it's kind of a bizarre pick.
I agree. Knowing what it is, I hadn't heard of it outside of seeing like a trailer or a poster. So when I saw this was nominated, I went, she played the wife. And then you told me today, no, number one, it's not a biopic it's a biopic about impersonators, and people want to execute her for getting nominated.
Yes. There are so many posts on Twitter where it's just like, I'm so glad for these 4 nominees for leading actress. And I saw somebody crossed out. I'm like, who could they hate? Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she bad in it? Is that why people are mad?
I think that movie is just considered Oscar baity. I don't know if it's really considered the villain this year, but I know a lot of people are just like, you replaced. Chase Infinity could have been here. And from what I can tell, she would have been a better pick than Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
And she's a better pick than Tiana Taylor, even though they're different categories.
Chase Infinity is definitely number 6 here in terms of who came in, in the percentages. I must say, regarding Hamnet, I am happy. I forgot to mention this with Best Supporting Actor. I am happy that Paul Mescal did not get nominated, because now that I've seen Hamnet, like a few days ago when I saw this category for the first time, I went, oh, Paul Mescal isn't there. I kind of expected him. I guess Delroy Lindo took his spot. Looking at the SAG nominations, a different actor from Sinners was nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the SAG Awards. Miles, I think Carton was his name.
Canton, maybe?
The kid who plays the guitar. Yeah, it looks like Stellan stole Paul Mescal's spot, because Stellan Skarsgård wasn't nominated at the SAG Awards. Crazy.
Wow.
And actually no one from Sentimental Value is, which makes me think it must have been made outside of their rules, but they go, you can't win our awards because you didn't follow our...
And I remember seeing something that also says that's not true, that they technically are as well, but then who knows?
They're all in SAG.
I guess they have to be, yeah.
So what's... It doesn't make sense.
Because Renata Renzva was in an American TV show. I think it's called Presumed Innocent for Apple. So I don't get it.
And Elle Fanning is, they're all in Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
So it doesn't compute. I would bet that since it was a foreign production, it was probably made in a ecosystem separate from Hollywood enough that there was no one around to go, if you do this thing, you're ineligible because of nitpicky rules. But I'm happy Paul Mescal was not nominated. I thought his performance in Hamnet was not anything special. I think Jessie Buckley's performance in Hamnet, it is the reason to see the movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
The second that this movie was viewable by people, she shot to number 1 in the predictions for nominations and wins over Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne was kind of cleaning up at critics groups, and I guess still is, but not having seen that movie and understanding what I do from your description, Hamnet, even if they were equally good performances, which I doubt it, I think that Hamnet just has enough eyes on it that it's going to run away with it.
I agree.
The reason that Glenn Close didn't win the Oscar over the Queen, I forget her name, but the actress who played the Queen in The Favorite, it's because The Favorite had 10 nominations and Glenn Close's movie had 1 for her. Nobody saw it. I think The Favorite was a better choice, but I think the narrative didn't work for her because no one saw the movie. I don't think enough people are seeing If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. It wasn't nominated anywhere else. It doesn't sound like it was good enough to be nominated anywhere else. Thank God there's no Conan O'Brien nomination for Best Supporting Act, because they were trying to push that.
Yeah, Conan was so terrible in it. I don't see... He's so miscast, first of all, and even then, he's a terrible actor in it. I don't get it.
I saw the trailer and I went, what? You showed me a scene where he's just acting and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is terrible. So yeah, I think Jessie Buckley is taking it. I would personally vote for Renata.
Same. That's my pick for who I would want to win this. Like I said, it's extremely layered performance.
Yeah.
Soul crushing, but also hopeful. Yeah, fantastic.
After Cate Blanchett for Tar, I think that's my favorite leading actress role I've seen in a movie this decade.
Wow.
Maybe tied with Mikey Madison and Honora. In terms of a commanding female presence in a role that moved me and just, checked all the boxes of what you want just an actor to do. It was just amazing. But she's going to lose because Jessie Buckley was in the movie where she cries a lot. And Renata was in the movie where she does more subtle acting. She
cries a little.
Yes.
And it actually makes sense.
Yes.
With her level of crying.
Yes.
Instead of Jessie Buckley going,
You know what it's like? You ever seen that Family Guy scene where Peter Griffin is like, I almost call him Peter Jackson. He got Oscars on the brain. You know that scene where Peter Griffin's like, I'm going to really try, Lois. I'm going to prepare for this harder than Ben Affleck prepares for a role. You ever seen that joke?
I have not.
It then cuts to Ben Affleck on a couch and he looks at his watch and he goes, I got to be on set playing Henry VIII in 10 minutes. Let me practice my accent. Hello. There we go. And he gets in his car. Hamnet, Jessie Buckley, all the performances, but especially Jessie Buckley, not especially. It really it deserves to be pointed out for her because it's the one getting all the praise, this performance in this movie. I kind of feel like you could just be on the couch and then look at your watch and say, I got to be on set and go give this performance. She's not really doing anything that's that unique, I think. I think her performance, not that it's her fault, but her performance is that she's playing basically a normal person who is doing a lot of big acting in big dramatic circumstances that anyone would be doing those big acting moments in if they were in them themselves. I kind of feel like you could replace her with dozens and dozens of actresses who we don't even know, just talented people who do acting on planet Earth who are not celebrities, and you'd have very similar outcomes. So I don't really feel that strongly that it needs to happen, and I think Renata couldn't be replaced by just anyone anywhere. I think she is doing a lot of unique things in her movie. So
you know what's funny? That's the entire point of sentimental value, that you can't replace Renata.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even trying to.
Yeah. If you guys see the movie, you'll understand what we're talking about. Last person we actually haven't talked about a lot is Emma Stone. I saw Begonia. I think she's fine in it. I think since Poor Things, they're kind of just like pushing every performance she does. I think she was more than, I don't want to say serviceable. She was more than serviceable. She's fine in it. I liked her. I like the back and forth with Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's Oscar worthy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. She's entered that class of you're in a movie, you're getting campaigned. Her career was really in a different place. And then in the 2010s, she was nominated for Birdman, La La Land, and The Favorite, all 2 years apart from each other, won for La La Land, and was like, wow, she is now established as one of the core dramatic actresses of her age range. And then she won a second Oscar for Poor Things. And, you know, her plus Yorgos equals greatness. I didn't like Kinds of Kindness, but her and Jesse Plemons were both in that too. And they were, you know, it's worth watching for the two of them.
Yeah.
Begonia, I thought Jesse Plemons was better than I've seen him in anything else. I loved him in this. I thought Emma Stone was great, but it's not anything. It didn't need to be nominated. It's just a great actress doing her job really well, but I don't think anyone would be that mad if she hadn't got. You could put someone else in here. I don't need it to be Chase Infinity.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think she was definitely the sixth choice, but I mean, nothing else leaps to mind of like, that was also great. But Emma Stone, Kate Hudson, replace him with anybody. Rose Byrne is getting a lot of love. Like I said, Jessie Buckley's gonna get it. Mm-hmm. I don't really feel that passionate about this category because I already know that Renata's gonna lose.
Yeah. Our girl. Yeah. I mean, last thing I'll say, it's cool that Rose Byrne is here. Mm-hmm. Because If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is a challenging movie to watch. I didn't love it. I also didn't hate it. I'm glad it's there. That's my final thoughts I'll say on that.
Best Actor in a Leading Role. Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Nick, who do you think is going to take this?
Probably the one from the movie I haven't seen, but I agree from what I've seen, Timothée Chalamet. He also has the awards precedent for this. Yeah. From what you've said, he is fantastic. I liked DiCaprio in One Battle, and before Marty Supreme came out, I thought he was going to win, and then everybody saw Marty Supreme and said, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Ethan Hawke, I can't say too much because I turned off Blue Moon. Michael B. Jordan, okay, dude. Wagner Moura, I believe won at the Golden Globes.
Yep.
In the other category. For drama. So I guess it would probably be between Timothy and Wagner Moura. I'd be happy with either, but I'm going to think and put down Timothy for what I've seen.
And I think you're right for doing that. I don't think there is a single way he could lose this award at this point. He has every possible advantage in this category. Mm-hmm. He is, by most people's accounts who've seen the movies, the best performance here, or giving the best performance here. He is in the movie that is getting crazy attention specifically for his part of it. There's no one else who's stealing attention away, unlike One Battle After Another with DiCaprio. Not that he was ever like surefire to win. It just looked like it before all the movies came out. Mm-hmm. Unlike with that movie where you have this big cast and you have, you know, Sean Penn and Del Toro and Teyana Taylor getting all this attention that sucks stuff away. Marty Supreme, it is the Timothée Chalamet show. So not only is he doing great stuff, but there's nothing you're walking out of that movie with over being completely charmed and wowed by his turn in it, I think. Mm-hmm. I saw this movie in a packed theater on a weekday night
Wow.
When the movie had not just come out. There's no reason but that it should have been this many people, but people were eating it up. Every single moment in this movie where, in the hands of an average actor, it would just be somebody simply performing an action. He does something unique and awesome.
Yeah.
He does some amazing, subtle, expressive acting that I've never seen him do in anything since the
Call Me by Your
movie.
Name.
Thank you. I thought he was fantastic in that movie. I didn't know who he was when I saw it, and I was like, wow, where has this kid been? He is brilliant in this. And then he's just done a lot of bullshit, in my opinion, since then. He's done films well, but it felt like there was all this promise that was not capitalized on, and I think he finally did it with this movie. I think he created a unique, like I said, charming, funny, tragic character. Similar to my thoughts about Mikey Madison with Nora, I think he took a character that could have been very thin and basic, if just performed differently, and he just added a lot of stuff to it. I think that he's walking away with it. I think it's his time. I think everything points to him winning. His biggest competition here is Wagner Moura, just based on the fact that he has won a lot of prestigious actor awards, and the international part of the Academy might be enough to put some chips in Timothy's armor. But I think what makes Timothy walking away with it with like no doubt in my mind is the fact that none of these other actors in the middle here are taking more than 2% of the vote. Like no one is going to be a shooter for Ethan Hawke's role in Blue Moon, right? Yeah. Michael B. Jordan, why the fuck are you here? I mean, even if we were sinners, even if we were lovers of this movie, he is doing nothing worth nominating here.
No.
DiCaprio, he won an Oscar for the wrong movie.
Yeah.
Let's not repeat that. He doesn't need to win for this. He's good in it. He's a good actor, but there's no reason he needs to get this. Just give it to Timothée Chalamet.
The hype train for DiCaprio is gone at this point. Once the meme of, he's never won an Oscar finally got put to rest.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, you actually have to be in a good movie now.
Yes.
And give an extremely good performance for us to even consider it. Michael B. Jordan, his entire time is just being like, hey, man, what? And I'm not even kidding.
It's crazy.
I'm not even actually kidding.
And Ethan Hawke is just like, oh, my God, I would love to suck on your penis. Bring it over here right now. There's nothing to it.
The only thing, and I think Ethan Hawke has won some awards on some circuits.
Oh, okay. For this movie?
For this movie, I believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But he is definitely the LGBT pick, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And somebody did point out that there's actually been quite a track record in, I don't know if it was supporting actor, or I'm sorry, if it was just lead actor or just the supporting actor, lead actor mix in general. But there has been a pretty long track record recently of having gay characters
Get nominated,
yes. And that's cool. But so I feel like there could be some big percentage of people just being like, well, I'm voting for him,
there could be. That reminds me, I didn't really finish the point that I was getting at with Wagner. I think that for Ethan Hawke, Michael B. Jordan, and Leonardo DiCaprio, the percentages of people who go, oh, that's my pick for X reason, they are all way smaller percentages than people voting for Wagner. And I think all four of those combined are probably less than Timothy. Like, I bet Timothy has more than 50% of the Academy voting for him. So Wagner is peeling off the most voters, and everyone else is peeling off so little that I don't think it even helps Wagner. Because even if people who could vote for Timothy are going for these other three in the center here, Leo, Ethan, and Michael, it's not like Wagner Moura has this giant campaign behind. Like, there's no narrative for him. I think the fact that he's won any awards for this just speaks to the fact that he gave a good performance in a movie that played at Cannes, whereas I don't think Marty Supreme did. So easy for him to win Best Actor there. At the Golden Globes, him and Timothy were in different categories, because even though Marty Supreme is not a musical or comedy, remember Judd Apatow's 10-minute Type 5 about that? And that's not a mistake that I said it that way.
Yeah.
Where he's like, The Martian got nominated. That's not a comedy. He's doing Reddit humor. Mm-hmm. They were in different categories. If they had both been put in drama, Timothy would have won. I have no doubt in my mind.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think, going back to an earlier point when I talked about the gay voters, I think there are enough gay dudes who probably vote for Timmy as well.
Oh, sure.
He's big among the gays.
You see his ass in this movie.
Oh.
You see his ass and maybe shadow of ball.
Ooh, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, this is definitely going Timmy for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, and another thing, this is also an angry category for me. Where the fuck is Jesse Plemons here? Michael B. Jordan and Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, I love you. You should have won for First Reformed. You'll be nominated again. You'll probably win. You've been nominated many times for acting and writing all this shit. You're good. But this is not the movie. Michael B. Jordan, get the fuck out of here. How did both of those get in over Plemons? He is amazing in Begonia.
Playing a conspiracy theorist who is so confident in his beliefs.
Yes.
Which is an extremely rare thing to show in like a Hollywood production too. They always have them as like some type of bumbling idiot. He's going bar for bar with Emma Stone.
Yes.
The rapport is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. When he got snubbed, I think there was an interview with Jenny Slate, the comedian. And she's just like, what? Like, how the fuck does he get snubbed for that?
It's
I think he should be here. Yeah.
Crazy. People made such humdrum. People make such hubbub about snubs. Here's the thing. The idea of a snub is like, it presupposes that someone was guaranteed something or owed something and didn't get it. And these are just awards given out. Plemons was nominated for awards elsewhere. He won Best Actor at Cannes last year for Kinds of Kindness, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
But, you know, he's a very beloved actor, and it's not like he needs this for his career or anything. Like, he's definitely top 5 actors that come to mind of his age range of like American people who can deliver, you know? Mm-hmm. And this movie is a great showcase for him, and it's fantastic. It just boggles my mind that he didn't get enough votes, because when people are going to nominate, it's not like they only have one pick. They're nominating 5 names. How was he not in the top 5 that came up? Begonia got nominated for multiple awards in multiple categories.
Yeah.
Clearly people got the screeners. Mm-hmm. People were seeing the movie, and they picked Michael B. Jordan in Sinners and Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon. It's just...
That is crazy. He deserves it more.
It.
Yeah, I wouldn't understand either. He deserves it more than Emma Stone deserves it for their respective performances.
It's his best. He was nominated, by the way, for Power of the Dog for the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't even like that movie, but that's crazy.
Yeah. And he's doing nothing in it. Like, He's not doing a bad performance, but he's just playing a guy who's like, I stand here and I'm stoic.
Yeah.
Oscar nomination for that, but not this. He is acting his ass off in this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That scene, the gif of him on the bike. If you've seen the movie, you know, the scene of him on the bike is just like fucking awesome. Yeah.
Or him at the dinner table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, every scene. Mm-hmm. Your ship, your mother's ship, that whole scene where, you know, oh my God. I could watch it again for him alone. You know, I could just watch a highlight reel of his scenes. Sure. Honestly, he's like minor Lockjaw. It's like half of what Lockjaw is. Sure. Yeah, he's on that spectrum.
And finally, the nominees for Best Picture are Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Now, before I go into predictions, I want to ask you, Caleb.
Yeah.
What do you want for Best Picture?
I want Weapons, which should have been nominated and almost was. This is what I wanted to mention earlier. Weapons was nominated at the Producers Guild of America, which they do an award, which is basically analogous. It's the closest thing to predicting Best Picture nominees. It's only producers, whereas everybody gets nominated Best Picture in the Academy. So it's not a perfect predictor, but it made the top 10. You know what didn't? Was fucking F1. Or no, sorry, excuse me. It should have F1's place. The Secret Agent is the one thing here that was not nominated at the Producers Guild. Chance that could get in there, but I thought, oh, well, F1 is not making it to the Oscars. The fact that F1 is here and not Weapons is nuts. Weapons is my pick for Best Picture in anger only. No, of the nominees here, what I think should win, you asked?
Yes. Out of these 10, what do you want to win, not what you predict?
I guess if I were voting, or I guess ranking how they do it now, because they rank their picks, I would probably pick Marty Supreme or Sentimental Value. They're very different, but they're the two that I like the most. I think they're the best movies here. But honestly, my answer would change depending on what mood you catch me in. If it's a cloudy day, I'm picking Sentimental Value. If it's a sunny day, I'm picking Marty Supreme, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. You're doing like that one time they tied at the Oscars.
Sure.
Yeah. For me, haven't seen Marty Supreme yet, but Sentimental Value is my Best Picture of the year. I think it is a 10 out of 10 movie. And I rarely give those out. It, I think, is perfect on many levels. I loved all the performances, watched it twice, read the screenplay, and have seen all the stuff they cut out and how they made the movie tighter and better because of it. Love how it looked. It's better than Worst Person in the World, in my opinion. I think there's very little even to nitpick about that movie. I think it is a perfect movie.
Yes.
That being said, we know it's not going to win.
No.
And I think, and I wonder if you agree, you'll probably agree, I think Best Picture is going to one battle.
It's going to one battle after another.
Yeah.
It is the movie this year that has just a crazy demographic, like equal love across all demographics. It's just praised by everybody. All of these movies could be divisive or polarizing to different kinds of personalities. And One Battle After Another in certain ways is, but it rides the line. It's kind of a statement movie, but it's not annoying about it, at least most of the time. It's an actor's showcase. It's an adventure movie. It's a drama. It's a comedy. It's the overdue Best Picture. It's the thing that got the most widespread acclaim between critics and audiences. It's the drama movie that had the big budget that should have failed by the guy who makes bombs, and it didn't bomb. It has everything it needs. It's as sure as Timothée Chalamet for Best Actor or K-pop for Best Song. You know, it's nothing could beat it here. The only way that One Battle After Another doesn't win Best Picture, I mentioned earlier the ranking system. I won't go back into all of it. Listen to the early timely discussions, number 2, I think, for the explanation of how it works. Best Picture, they do not have to vote for a winner here. They had changed the system. Everybody ranks 1 through 10. So if your movie is consistently number 2 or 3, you actually have a better chance of winning. Because if some people are putting Marty Supreme, but everyone else is putting Sentimental Value, One Battle at number 2 could win, right? People are going to be very passionate about One Battle. It's going to have a lot of first place votes. It's going to have a lot of second place votes. But also Sinners is going to have a lot of first place and a lot of second place. So it is competitive. It's still it's a pretty goddamn sure thing that One Battle, it's going to be on everyone's number 1 or 2. And it's going to be on more than Sinners is, because Sinners is just not that good. And honestly, it's just hype that carried it here, I believe. Yeah. Hopefully I'm right.
I am worried about the Sinners dark horse, no pun intended. With that, there are a ton of people who are going to be putting it at number 1. I have read, I think Variety does this every year, where they interview people anonymously who are part of the Academy, and they talk about what they wanted. There are a ton of people who are just like, yeah, loved One Battle, loved Sinners. Those are my 2 that I'm voting for. You have those people who are actual, like, cinephiles who like Sentimental Value is great. Secret Agent, I really enjoyed that. And One Battle, yeah, well, I mean, it's fine that, One Battle's in somebody's, top 3. I liked that movie broadly. But then you get people who are just like, only saw Sinners this year. Great. And I know you have to watch all the stuff in a category to vote.
For documentary.
But not for Best Picture?
No.
Oh, fuck, that's right. Yeah, so Best Picture is the one where you can really just be like, fuck it, I'll choose whatever.
They only police the category for the movies no one saw. It's crazy.
That actually is crazy. So yeah, let me amend that a little bit. Point I'm trying to make is somebody can just watch Sinners and be like, I vote Sinners. Yeah. I don't vote in any other category besides the ones that I maybe just tangentially saw, so happened to see. There are a ton of people who are just only going to only like Sinners and are only going to vote really based off that. There are a ton of people. I'm scared that that's going to happen, but I think One Battle has enough broad support as well that people are going to put that high up.
I think you're right. And also, not to be hack, but race is also a factor here. Not because evil white people are so racist they won't vote for Sinners. In fact, if Sinners has any chance of Best Picture, it's because of white people. We're going to go, oh my God, black movie, I'm guilty. But again, the Academy has introduced a lot of international people. It's a bigger Academy now, bigger voting base, which is why you get a more diverse collection of nominees in terms of international features in non-foreign film category. If there's one thing that's true across the globe, it's that most people hate black people. I mean, Asians fucking hate black people.
They do.
Europeans, well, I guess that's too broad to just say Europeans, but a lot of aspects of multiple European cultures fucking hate black people. Hispanics fucking hate black people.
Sure.
I think there's enough racism from non-whites who are like, I am not putting sinners in the top. You know what I mean?
And Africans hate African Americans.
Well,
yeah, they say, why are you black like me?
Well, I think Africans hate Africans individually, but I think they go, oh, we was Kang, Sinners number one. Like every black Academy voter is putting Sinners number one. Even if they didn't see it, even if they saw it and didn't like it, they are going to feel that they owe it to they people to put that number one and give it the Oscar for Best Picture. But I think that is kind of canceled out. I think the 14% of the Academy that does that, I think they're canceled out by the who knows what percent of non-white and also non-blacks who are like, get the fuck out of my Oscars. So that's also a factor. This really is, I mean, it's a closer battle than I'm making it sound because like we are very confident it'll be one battle. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you never know how these things play out. I mean, no one thought Green Book would win. And that happened in the ranked system. I mean, the ranked system was introduced, I think, in 2009 or 10. And mostly Best Picture has been pretty predictable. But there are still years where you go, wait, what? Mm-hmm. But usually the wait, what is more of like it was the really safe pick. Yeah. And One Battle's a safe pick. Like Green Book was a wait, what, but that was a safe pick. Coda was a wait, what, but that was a safe pick.
King's Speech.
I think that was predicted, right? Okay. I mean, that won a lot of precursors. Well, that and Social Network, but they're both safe picks. They're white people movies, is the way of saying that.
That is true.
You know, so usually when you get a unexpected thing, it's usually unexpected, but in the safe direction. It's not typical that, you know, oh my God, Best Picture was The Brutalist over Nora. Nah, it's, you know, it's
so
not usually.
I agree with what you're saying. We're not going to get like The Secret Agent here.
No.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. That's going to get maybe maybe most 4% of the vote overall as a first pick.
As long as ICE exists, Spain and Mexico ain't getting Best Picture.
It's Brazil, actually. You're racist.
Secret Agent's Brazil?
Yeah.
Why did I think that was Spain? Surat was Spain. Yeah. Well, they're all the same.
Yeah, they're all.
To me.
They're all brown, according to Caleb Linder.
Yeah.
Forgot your middle name. But,
It's Charles.
It is not Charles. That's nobody's middle name. And moving on. Yeah, I think you're right, broadly, that if it will go in a direction, it's not going to be like, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? But overall, I think that Sinners is over-nominated and is going to get less than half of its nominations. I think One Battle is going to be the clear winner on the night. I hope Cinema Value gets at least 2. I'm thinking Stellan Skarsgård is a lock. Just because of all the stuff going on that they're going to be kind of wary to put Sean Penn in for a multitude of reasons. That is my goat, though. I hope it gets at least 2. Yeah. If it gets at least 2 on awards night, I will be very happy. If more, whoa.
Yeah.
Other stuff I really couldn't give less of a shit about.
I agree. Yeah. Broadly. Mm-hmm. I think it's hilarious. It's so sad, but it is just kind of fun. I mean, here's the thing. I can't feel too bad for Sean Penn because he has 2 Oscars on his shelf. Deservedly. You know, he won for Mystic River and Milk, and he's fantastic in those, and no one can take that away from him. And, you know, I mean, he has said 2 years ago, before this movie was shot and there was any chance he was getting a 3rd Oscar, he was out there being like, the Oscars are fucking goislap. You know, he was just, he has no one to blame for himself, but himself, for the fact that he's probably going to lose. It's just so funny to me that of all the Oscars that One Battle is taking home, it is probably not taking home the one that it definitely deserves.
It absolutely deserves.
And the fact that Teyana Taylor is soon going to be Academy Award winner.
Guys.
Here's the thing. No matter how it plays out, she's already Academy Award nominee. That's 9/11 enough. That's enough of a reason to reset. If there's any planes taken off out of aim for the I cannot allow that show to continue. You know, here's the thing. If planes hit the just, one plane after another. There was imagine that beer video that Shane Gillis was talking about, but then there's just 3 and then 4 and then 5. If planes just keep hitting the eventually they will have to just say we can't even announce who was going to win. It's too touchy.
If a bunch of sinners, some secret agent sinners hijack the planes.
Yeah. Iranian planes who are campaigning on behalf of, it's going to be like Doctor Strangelove. Like every country has different reasons to not want sinners to win. And then the Sinner brothers are like, oh my God, it's going to be the end of Network with the, with the black militants like shooting Uzis.
Mm-hmm.
We could have I forget what it's called. I think it's called Rat Race. Is that movie where everyone is trying to get to this? They're like all in this big race across the globe and they all have to end up in one spot. We're going to have like a rat race of terrorists who are all trying to get
all suicide bombing.
Horrible. And then the Oscars will happen and everyone will forget about all of this.
Yes.
And then next year we'll be saying what won?
Who cares? Yeah. Oscars don't really matter beyond like maybe 10 movies ever. It's like nobody really pays attention.
It's disheartening to me that we don't have something else to fall back on that's like culture, that's accepted in the culture as having merit and meaning something, and also actually is that. Mm-hmm. The Oscars have never been perfect, but, you look at the stuff that wins, it's so inflated now. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once won Best Picture, Director, Screenplay, Editing, and 3 acting awards. And it deserved none of those, in my opinion.
Well, Caleb, you don't get it. There's a lot of scenes where a lot of edits happen, which means the editing is really good.
And there's a lot of scenes where people cry, and crying is acting.
Crying is acting.
Oh my God, Jesse Buckley.
Yeah.
You were great.
Yeah, someone punches somebody in a funny way, that means it's good.
Oh my God, hot dog fingers.
Hot dog finger. And they do lesbian kiss. Isn't that funny?
I had a job, Nick, where one of my coworkers was like, dude, best movies I've seen this year, The Whale, and everything. Don't choke on your beer there.
Having The Whale as your best picture, God, you have to be fucked up in the head.
He said The Whale and Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I was like, wow, those are very different.
Yeah.
What spoke to you about each one? And he's like, what do you mean? Like he didn't, whatever he said, but that's not how he was thinking about it, because what I eventually found out is that after those were the 2 movies that won the 4 acting categories, 3 for Everything and Brendan Fraser for The Whale. He said, I heard that they won the Oscars for acting. And I was like, okay, these must be decent. And they were both perfect. And I'm like, buddy, if there's one thing that ain't true, it's that those 2 movies are perfect. Your opinions can never be trusted. Yeah. And then he's like, well, what did you like this year? And I rattled off whatever I did. He just looked at me like I had just said I was, had 2 heads or something. And I learned that day. Oh, the whole reason I brought this up. He then said, like, we went on doing our jobs. And then later he just goes, did you like the hot dog? Because I said I didn't like Everything Everywhere. He says, did you like the hot dog fingers scene? I was like, no, I thought that was dumb. And I was already checked out by that point. Mm-hmm. And he goes, it's hot dog fingers. It's like hot dog. And he started acting out the hot dog finger. And he's looking at me like, get it? Like someone shaking a toy in front of their puppy. And I just stared at him and I was like, and he couldn't compute that hot dog finger. And I'm like, oh, you have meme brain. Like you actually think, I don't know how to explain this. He has crossed over. We now have actual humans who TikTok is the real movie, and the movie is you're waiting for the TikTok moment. Does that make sense? He wasn't like an idiot in like he was just this child who's like, they did thing in movie. He was like, remember the hot dog finger scene? And I'm like, no, that was stupid. And he's like, no, it was great because it was weird. Like he's waiting for memeable moments.
He loves the jingling keys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was looking at me like, don't you get it? That's what movies are. And I was like, oh no, the next generation is more cooked than we thought.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that's what I think of when I think of Everything.
Yeah. I know Red Letter Media loves to talk about like, cinema is dead. Oh, don't go to the theater. Yeah. But I don't think I'm that far gone yet. But if the Oscars keep nominating dog shit in every category, and people agree with it, then I'm going to start getting scared. I mean, movies are going to be around for another 100 years. Do you disagree?
100 years?
Do you disagree?
Movies, 2 hour long, on average, stories with made by humans, starring humans? You think those are going to be around in 100 years?
Mostly humans, maybe AI, but I think movies are going to be around for 100 years at least.
I'm less hopeful on that. I think you're on some hopium.
I'm on the hopium tonight in what, one category?
Nick.
Yeah.
Movies have existed for about 100 years. And we went from them existing and being pretty decent and then getting better and better and then peaking and then becoming garbage in only 100 years. How do you think we're going to have movies at all? This trend line is very bad. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's like a mountain with a fall off, as you're saying, that's just going to get like worse and worse. I think it will continue in mediocrity eternally, just like many things in our lives. But I don't think they're going away. I mean, that's like saying that like people stopped painting because we got moving pictures. I think the medium will still exist and be popular. I think it's going to have to be re-energized in some way. And some people think, oh, putting AI in movies, which is they shouldn't do that. I don't know how it's going to evolve, but if movies evolved from silent to talkies, there might be another way that we cannot fathom at this point that movies are going to evolve, that is going to get more eyes on it, and there'll be this, renaissance for, I guess, what you would call probably like the third era of filmmaking, if you have like silent sound and I don't know, like holograms or something.
The turd era.
The turd era. Yes, it's going to be all. Do you remember Quibi?
Yeah.
The fucking like shows that you could just watch on your phone in like portrait style.
Damien Chazelle did one of those portrait style films. Did you see that one?
I did not.
It's terrible.
Also, Quibi cost like $1 billion. It was kind of crazy. But I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it will be watching movies on your phone. Maybe it will be a VR type thing. It's something that we probably can't fathom at this point. But if you are our grandchildren watching Grandpa Caleb and Nick in their glory days before they got executed at The Hague, then be like, oh, you were actually right about something.
Before they flew those 747s.
But into the...
I do think that I agree with your point about like maybe something that evolves from this. I think that is sound. I agree. Yes. Some kind of narrative storytelling with people that is not short form. Sure. Something like that will still exist. I think that what we have come to know of a movie being a kind of an event starring actors who are extremely good at what they do and they make their salary because they're good at what they do. That is gone pretty much. So there's not a whole lot left outside of like, okay, you have theatrical, that's going away. You have like artistic, intent being respected. That's gone, at least in this country. So it's like all that's really left is just the fact that, well, it is a moving picture, people who talk and that kind of shit. And I think like people our age don't really care about that as much. It's like how people say like, oh, you mentioned paintings. Like, people look at paintings less, but people still paint. People read books less, people still read. I think this form is going to be extremely unpopular, an extremely unpopular way of making entertainment or telling a story in a way that impacts a significant group of people. The way that like a book that comes out that is like literal genius and wins book awards, no one has heard of it, Yeah. And I think that even if it still exists and people are doing great work, who cares if no one's going to see it? That's kind of the bleak future I see.
Yeah. I also see a future where the people who are like, I would call us cinephiles. I think people would apply that label to us in the sense of we are people that like movies that aren't just made in Hollywood. I feel like people like us or cinephiles in general are going to get more dug in. It's going to be a harder club to get into. It's going to be more safeguarded.
They're going to have TSA for movies after what happened to
well, what I'm saying is like right now there are a ton of people like us who are just like, hey, maybe somebody who hasn't watched Cinema Value or no other choice be like, hey, this is an international film. You should go and look for it. Those people are going to be like, fuck you. I'm not going to like engage with these people who are just watching F1, who are just watching The Lost Bus on Apple TV, which apparently got a nomination. I didn't hear about it until the day of.
Starring Matthew McConaughey.
Starring True Detective, man. Yeah. They are not going to engage with the unwashed masses who are watching that. The cinephiles are going to become a closer knit community who are going to be just talking in and amongst each other. And I don't know. I assume the Oscars is going to go the opposite direction and be like, all right, Avatar 6 won it all.
It's going to be like the Nickelodeon Awards. There's going to be slime.
The Kids' Choice Awards.
It's just going to be cum. They're just going to like, it's literally going to be like groups of sinners standing around. And then they dump it onto Jacob Elordi, and he goes, "Ah, you cummed me, god damn it!"
The cum award for best penis goes to Jack Black in Anaconda 6.
We're gonna reach the singularity very soon here. I just feel like I enter unwashed in a room full of individuals that I know don't care about anything that I value, and that's fine. But it is a little sad. I mean, what is it worth to enjoy like a beautiful painting if you're the only one in your circle who enjoys it? And I very rarely meet people. I meet intelligent people, cool people, hip, who share a lot in common with the kinds of stuff they like in pop culture. But when it comes to the subject of movies, they're like, dude, hot dog fingers? That was epic.
Have you seen Hot Dog the movie? That's my pick for best movie.
Big guy. Pants okay.
SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. Big guy.
I think that's the end.
That's the end of this.